From McCormick Gymnasium in Fargo, North Dakota, I'm Cade Busick alongside Jed Thomas as the Shanley Deacons prepare to take on the Fargo South Bruins in varsity girls basketball. Jed, what are some of the storylines we should be watching tonight?
Well, Cade, coming into tonight, we're really looking at two teams on really coming in opposite situations. Shanley with a 13-5 record, South coming in at 3-14. The Bruins, I think, are really just looking to end their season on a high note tonight as things kind of start to wind down. Shanley, meanwhile, is looking for a bit of a pick-me-up win after losing a heartbreaker to Davies at home last week. I think it's going to be interesting to see what both teams do here. We'll see how Shanley recovers from a really tight loss, and we'll see how Fargo South does trying to play that role of spoiler. They're a pretty young team. They got a lot of energy, and sometimes those teams can be dangerous in situations like this. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, Jed, you mentioned that South will be trying to play the spoiler. Other than maybe winning the championship, that's kind of the best role you can play in sports, and they're really going to have to embrace that role tonight if they want to come out of here with a win.
Absolutely, Cade. It's like you said, obviously your number one goal is to win games and win the championship. South, not so much in that situation this season. It's been a rebuilding year for them, but the one thing you can do, like you said, is play that spoiler role, and you kind of get the satisfaction of maybe, ending someone else's season or, taking out someone else's chances. And that's kind of the name of the game. That's sports.
And if you got to have a better night to play spoiler, senior night tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. It really puts a lot of pressure on the Deacons to perform well. Obviously you want to win a game for your seniors. And actually, I'll stop talking as it looks like the senior night festivities are about to start up here.
Good evening, and welcome.
And that's the case. So, folks, we'll send you down to the PA announcer for senior night right now.
For tonight's Eastern Dakota Conference girls basketball matchup. But before we get started at this time, we would like to introduce and honor your senior basketball players who are playing in their final home game here at Shanley High School. And we'd also like to introduce and recognize their parents who have made all of this possible. Over the 4 years, we have watched as these seniors have grown, both as athletes and as young adults. From the teammates of the seniors, they would like to thank you for everything you have done for us. It means a lot. It is sad to say that the season is almost over, but we are all looking forward to the rest of the season with you guys. You guys have showed us what leaders truly are and how to show everyone how to set great examples. And as to the seniors, from your underclassmen teammates. I will now introduce the seniors and their parents. I'd like you to first please welcome student manager Jenna Johnson, daughter of Steve and Danny Johnson. Next up, student manager Joe Keller, son of Gary and Joni Keller. Next up, number 2, Sierra Berg, daughter of Rich and Christy Fetzer. Next up, number 20, Lily Rivard, daughter of Mark and Jenny Rivard. Next up, number 21, Julia Vetter, daughter of Rich and Shar Vetter. Next, number 24, Sarah LaFleur, daughter of Todd and Jennifer LaFleur. Next, number 30, Taryn Hopper, daughter of Troy and Tammy Hopper. Next, number 33, Katie Visser, daughter of Brian and Rita Visser. Next up, number 34, Alexis Warner, daughter of Kent and Lisa Warner. And your final senior being honored tonight is Amanda Leininger. Her parents, Cynthia and Kurt Leininger. Amanda would have been a classmate of the seniors. And they would like to honor her tonight as a member of their team by having her parents be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Deacon Girls Basketball Senior Class. Let's give them one more big round of applause. And good luck, ladies, in tonight's ball game.
Well, after the senior night introductions, we're going to get about a 3-minute warm-up. But Jed, who are some players on both teams we're going to want to watch tonight?
Yeah, Cade, so I think we can start off looking at the Shanley side of things. And, you know, keeping with the theme of senior night, let's start off with a pretty important senior to this squad. Sierra Berg is a name you got to talk about. She's just been, I think the best word to describe her really has been efficient. She's been so reliable for them, been really efficient with the ball in her hands. Field goal percentage well over 60%. She just can kind of do it all for them. Great defender, great in the paint. Another name to watch, though, for sure, has got to be Riley Payne. She has been dominating, averaging a double-double this season, leading the EDC in points per game and rebounds per game. She's just been electric out there. Definitely two big names to watch. You got a senior there in Berg and then the sophomore in Payne. Over on the Fargo South side of things, I think the thing you really notice looking at this team is the youth. A lot of the big contributors on this team are pretty young, and one girl who I'm looking to make a big impact is just an 8th grader, Addie Wagner, 5'6" guard. Like I said, only in 8th grade. She can really do some things out there as an 8th grader, pretty young, but already having a pretty big impact for Fargo South. So that's a name to watch, and along with her, I think just a lot of other young players. They got a lot of freshmen whose names I think we're going to be calling as well here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, South, you only see 2 seniors and 2 juniors even. A lot of freshmen and even 8th graders on this team, and that's something that's going to make it tough for South to match the experience of Shanley when you're going to be seeing a lot of seniors tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that's, you know, in large part been some of South's issue this year. You know, obviously the only 3 wins on the season, not what you want. But, you know, it's always so difficult in high school sports. You've only got players for 4 years. And when you lose a large senior class, when a lot of your upperclassmen, you know, age out and graduate, you've got these rebuilding type years. And I think that's exactly what South has had this season. It's not fun when you're in them because obviously you want to be winning some more games. But years like this year for South are just so beneficial, you know, 1-2 years from now when these young girls are upperclassmen and they can really start to make a big impact there.
Well, I think we're going to go down to the announcer for the national anthem, but stay tuned. High school girls basketball action is next.
Good evening and welcome to McCormick Gymnasium on the campus of Shanley High School for tonight's Eastern Dakota Conference girls basketball matchup featuring the visitors on the scoreboard, the Fargo South Bruins, and your home team, Shanley Deacons. Shanley High School, I'd like to remind all fans that we are a tobacco-free campus. Smoking is prohibited on the school grounds. Also, the concession stand and restrooms are located south of the gymnasium in the conference area. At this time, we ask that you please rise as Father Charles LaCroix will lead us in prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Father, through the death and resurrection of your Son, Jesus, you have made us your adopted sons and daughters, confident to call you Father. And we thank you, Father, for gathering us together here today for these contests. We ask you, as always, to be with us and watch over us, bless us, keep the players free from injury and harm, allow them to play to the best of their ability. Reward them for their efforts, and may they enjoy the contest here tonight. Everything that we think, say, and do, we pray that we'll be giving you great honor, glory, and praise, and a special blessing on the parents of the players of both teams. Reward them for their dedication, their devotion, their support, and of course, their love. We pray all this in the name of your Son, Jesus, by the power of your Holy Spirit. You are God forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please remain standing. Remove all headwear. Place your hand over your heart as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by Katie Visser, Alexis Warner, and Jenna Johnson, all senior members of your Deacon girls basketball team.
Don't go anywhere, folks. High school basketball action is next after a brief word from our sponsors.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Butler Machinery Company, Ed's Marine and Storage, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Kochman Brothers Homes, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Netrix IT, Northern Improvement Company, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Shields, and TCI Insurance.
Well, Jed, last Friday, Shanley had a really tough loss against Davies, and it really messed up the standings for them, actually. It knocked them down to 3, but what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to go to Red River, who beat them last week, and they're actually going to have to win that game to make it a 3-way tie between those 3 teams for the top seed in EDC.
Wow, no kidding. That really does muddy the picture. Obviously, Shanley lost to Davies in a bit of a heartbreaker at home. It was a televised game, big doubleheader. The boys were playing after them against a big-time rival in Davies. You're playing against the old coach in Tim Jacobson. Just a big game, a lot of pressure. Kind of a good warm-up for the tournament when you really think about it, because, I mean, that's about as close to replicating a postseason game as you can get. So a bit of a good dry run for tournament time, but unfortunately it did have some pretty big implications for them, and so that really hurt to drop that game, because like you said, now all of a sudden the standings are really messed up.
But the good thing, if you are the Deacons with that, you can't get lower than the 3 unless you lose all the rest of your games, all 3 of them.
Right, and so it's nice to have that little bubble they were able to work up, throughout the rest of the season. It'll be interesting to see, that's going to be a big game against Red River next week. Probably looking ahead to that. There was a big game against Davies, obviously, last week. And so, don't want to throw out the cliche term, but this could almost be one of those trap games. It's sandwiched in between 2 huge games. And sometimes, these games that you sometimes overlook because of some higher pressure ones surrounding them, those can really be trouble. And so Shanley's going to have to be on their toes today.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be in good shape, though. I mean, Coach Jacobson obviously is going to have them working because, I mean, they know if they win this game, they are no lower than 3 seed, no questions asked, and that's something that is in the back of their mind right now.
Absolutely. So there's still a lot on the line for them here tonight. You got to come out with your best. You're going to be playing against a really, really strong, a really plucky South team. A lot of youth, like I said, a lot of energy. This is a good stage to kind of prove what they've got, and so it'll be interesting to see what South brings to the table here against Shanley, and it'll be really interesting to see how Shanley responds given their current situation.
Something else to watch is Shanley going to start playing a little bit maybe for those tiebreakers, knowing that this could turn out to be a 3-team tie pretty quickly here, and you obviously want that 1 seed no matter what.
Yeah, another definite thing to watch. So, like we talked about, just a lot of storylines really in this game that'll be interesting to see how things shake out.
So we get ready for the tip-off. Berg is going to tip it ahead. It's going to be taken, and Rivard's going to end up with the ball. It's going to be a jump ball, and it will be Fargo South basketball. Deacon basketball, excuse me.
All right, so right off the bat, both teams going at it pretty hard. You got the jump ball really early into a game. Don't see that happening so early too often.
Rivard's going to bring the ball up for the Deacon. She's going to pass it over to LaFour. LaFour is going to give it over to Berg. Berg's going to dribble in. She's going to give it over to Rivard. Rivard for 2, no good. Rebound Berg. Berg for 2, no good. Rebound Warner. Warner, no good. She's going to get her own rebound, no good. It's going to be rebounded, and Wagner's going to bring the ball up for the Bruins.
A lot of opportunities there for Shanley. They could just not get one to go. That's unfortunate for the Deacons. Good opportunity early.
Ball's going to go over to Basie. Basie's going to give it over to Wagner. Wagner's going to look to set things up. Ball's going to go over to Nelson. Nelson for 3. It's good. And that'll get the emotions running.
Absolutely. That's how you want to start this game if you're Fargo South. What a great way to kick things off. And the girl who hit that 3, Bryn Nelson, only an 8th grader.
That is impressive when you have young girls that age doing that already for you.
No doubt.
Berg will get to the line for the Deacons, though, after the foul. It'll be on Holston. Berg is going to miss the first.
On the season, Sierra Berg is only shooting 52% at the line, probably a number she wants to see a bit higher as she's unable to connect with either of those.
Warner's going to get the rebound for her, and Ford's going to take the ball at the top. She's going to pass it over to Vetter. Vetter's going to dribble in. She's going to throw up a little bit of a wild shot, but get fouled and go to the line.
Yeah, good idea that time from Vetter. A little bit of an opening. Tried to cut inside there, but more importantly, I think when she realized there wasn't a shot there, she did a good job of drawing the foul.
She's going to make the first, and the Deacons are on the board.
Vetter shooting just a hair over 50% at the free throw line this season.
She'll make the second. And Wagner's going to bring up the ball for the Bruins. She's going to give it over to Nelson on the right side. It's going to go over to Brecky. Back over to Wagner. Wagner for 3. It's good. A really nice shot that was contested there. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Nelson. And now you're seeing South set up in a press. This is something that Shanley actually really struggled with against Davies last week.
Well, you know what, Kate? I mean, if you're Fargo South, this is exactly how you want to start this game. They're coming out fast. They're launching threes. They're, going with this press defense. They're playing aggressive, and that's what you got to do to try and get a win, as an underdog on the road.
LaFour's shot is going to be no good, but Rivard's going to get a rebound and put it up for 2, and the score is 6-4 now. Wagner's going to bring the ball up for South. She's going to pass over to Nelson. Nelson's going to give it back to Wagner. Wagner's going to get a screen. She's going to drive in, shot up. It's good. And South is going to start this game 3 for 3.
And I think you're going to hear us say this a lot as a steal comes up here for South, but Addie Wagner does not look like an 8th grader out there.
No, and Nelson, she's 2 for 2. I mean, Shanley's got to calm down right now as Vetter's going to dribble out of a trap. She's going to pass it over to Warner. Warner's going to give it over to Berg. Berg over to LaFour. LaFour for 2. No good. Wagner's going to get the steal, and she's going to be fouled by, I believe, Vetter.
Yeah, I think that's who they'll get, Kate. And, I mean, just what a start for Fargo South. This is just incredible. They are flying out there. And now you see some subs here. They started with 5 seniors out there for Shanley, and they'll add in 2 more to keep it at a 5-senior rotation so far.
Yeah, they're bringing in kind of the guys that are the 5 seniors that played a lot more this year. I believe they're going to call a push-off on South there, and it will be – no, they're going to call a foul on Shanley, and it will be South ball underneath.
So the good times keep rolling here for South.
Wagner looked like she wanted to shoot it. She's going to pass it in to Basie. Basie is going to get fouled, and she's going to go to the line. And Shanley has picked up, I believe, their 3rd foul already now.
Yeah, Fargo South is sitting at 3, and now Shanley is as well. And we talked a lot about how the experience Shanley has, we thought would give them an edge over Fargo South. And fouls is really, I think, where you see that experience pay off. So for Shanley to be, at 3 already at the same mark as Fargo South, that's not really what you want if you're trying to use that experience to your advantage.
And Berg is going to get a rebound poked out of her hand. That's going to be that was the first miss by Fargo South, with the exception of that foul, which doesn't come on the stat sheet.
Right.
I mean, they've come out firing and made this Shanley team just look like they don't want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible start. Shanley, I think, just, taken aback right now, kind of on their heels. They need to wake up a little bit. I mean, South has just come out cooking. There's a ton of game left to be played, so you don't want to sound the alarm just yet, but Shanley does need to slow this down, and that's a good start.
I mean, Berg is going to pass it out to Hoffer. Hoffer is going to give it back to Berg at the top of the key, who's going to throw it into Visser. It's going to go – no, it's going to be taken by Wagner. She's going to push the ball up the floor with a 5-on-4. She's going to dribble in. She's going to pass it over to Basie. Basie for 2 and the foul.
Holy cow, what a start for the Bruins. I mean, there's just not much more you can say, Cade. Look at this.
What a pass.
The 8th grader showing maturity way beyond her years with a fantastic pass. The 2 and the opportunity for the free throw. It won't go, but it's still a great play nonetheless.
Vetter's going to put it up for 2. She's going to make that, and South's going to bring the ball back up. Wagner will bring the ball up for South. Nelson's going to fire for 2. No good. Rebound Hoffer. Hoffer will bring the ball up the left side. She's going to pass it over to Vetter. Vetter's going to throw it into Berg. Now it's going to be poked out. Berg's going to end up with it. Hoffer for 2. No good. Rebound Holston. Then Wagner's going to bring the ball up. Brecky is going to dribble in, no good. Rebound owned by Basie, and she's going to get fouled. Shanley already has 5 fouls in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the foul trouble has been really surprising here for Shanley so far. It's just typically not something they struggle this much with, talking 5 fouls with 13 minutes still left in the first half. Another thing, though, I want to point out, what a play there by Anna Brecky. The way she cut through the defense, she couldn't finish the shot, but that was something else watching her just slice through into the paint. And she's one of the, few seniors on this team, one of just 2 actually. So that's pretty impressive there from Brecky, the one, senior they got in the starting rotation.
Rivard's going to bring the ball up. She's going to give it over to Berg. Berg is going to throw it ahead to Visser. Visser's going to throw it ahead to Vetter. Vetter's going to go for 3. It's good.
Big time response there for Shanley. They needed that.
Yeah, they really did, as Wagner's going to bring the ball up for South. Wagner's going to try and dribble around. She's kind of going to just fall, but ball is going to end up with Byer. Byer's going to throw it over. And Nelson's going to dribble around. Ball is going to be thrown into Basie. Wagner's going to go up for 2. No good. Rebound Vetter. Vetter's going to push the ball up the floor. And she kind of had that shot blocked, and it's going to be rebounded by Byer. Wagner's going to bring the ball up the floor. Brecky is going to be good for 2. Vetter's going to pass the ball up to Berg. Berg's going to throw it ahead to a cutting Visser. Visser, she's going to be fouled, but the shot is no good as she'll go to the line.
Yeah, once again, Anna Brecky making plays, that senior forward, just really showing tremendous leadership out there, playing pretty hard, hitting a long 2 that time. She's had a nice game to go along with these 8th and 9th graders.
And we're going to see Riley Payne, one of those players to watch, as you mentioned, the sophomore checking in.
Right, likely didn't see her because it is senior night. Coach Jacobson opting to go with that, all senior starting lineup, as most teams do on their senior night.
After the free throws, Wagner's going to bring the ball up. She's going to throw it over to Brecky. Brecky's going to give it over to Holston. Holston's going to dribble in. She's going to throw up a little bit of a wild shot. Going to be rebounded by Hoffer. Hoffer's going to throw it ahead to Payne. Payne's going to lose the dribble, but she's going to get it back. But then it's going to be poked out of bounds by Holston there.
Yeah, Sammy Hazelton, another 9th grader there, making a big-time play, just getting in there. One thing I've really noticed for South, they've been getting their hands in there. They've been really active, getting into those passing lanes and disrupting Shanley's flow.
Berg's going to get the rebound off the miss. She's going to throw it out to Payne. Payne for 3. Off the bank. It's going to go in.
Not quite the prettiest three-pointer, but it makes its way in, and that's Riley Payne's bread and butter. She is a lights-out three-point shooter. She takes a lot of them, but she hits them at a pretty good clip, 33% on the season. That's top 10 in the EDC.
Brecky's going to dribble in. She's going to give out to Holston. She's going to throw up a shot. It's going to be, Vetter's going to get the rebound. Vetter's going to try and push it ahead to Payne. Ball is going to go out of bounds. And we're going to have a freshman checking in for Shanley, Kate Busick. She's this is her second game back, returning from an ACL. She played a lot of big minutes against Davies for the Deacons.
Absolutely, kind of shows you the youth of Shanley. We talk a lot about their experience, but it's a pretty balanced squad. Got freshmen like Busick who play a lot of time, and then sophomores like Payne and Hadley Huber who are, usual starters. So Shanley, a lot of seniors, but they can kind of match some of this youth for South as well. Well-balanced team.
Huber may get some rest today. She was kind of getting worked on for her knee. It sounds like she'll be all right, but just maybe a little bit of precaution there.
Yeah, at this stage in the season, I don't know too much about what her current situation is injury-wise, but at this point in the season, it's not a bad idea to maybe rest up some of your starters as you want them to be fresh for, tournament time. And some of those bigger games, they got the big game with Red River coming up next week. But like I said earlier, you can't look past tonight's game. If South keeps this pace up, they might be forced to play Huber sooner rather than later.
Byer's going to dribble in. She had that pass, but was too hard. Vetter's going to bring the ball up, throw it out to Hoffer. Hoffer's going to throw it into Busick. Busick for 2. No good, off the rim. Wagner's going to bring it up after the rebound by Brecky. Holston was calling for the ball. She won't get it. Ball is going to go over to Schroeder. Schroeder's going to dribble in out to Holston. Holston's going to go baseline. It's going to be poked out, and Berg is going to end up with the ball as Busick's going to bring it up for the Deacons. Busick's going to go over to Hoffer. Hoffer's going to go to Payne in the corner. Payne for 3. No good. Wagner's going to bring the ball up after the Byer rebound. Wagner for 3. It's good.
Wow. Addie Wagner, she created just loads of space that time, had about 2-3 feet right in front of her, tons of space to shoot, and just drain that 3.
Vetter's going to be no good, but then she's going to get a rebound and put it up for 2, cut the South lead down to 4. Shanley has moved into a 2-3 zone as they're going to, and they're really pressing the Bruins. They're going to try and force South to shoot the ball well, which I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea the way they've been shooting. But
yeah, no kidding.
That's going to be their idea here.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the way South's been shooting, we'll see how that goes. Addie Wagner and Bryn Nelson have both been shooting really well from long range. We've also seen Brecky knock down 1 or 2 from pretty far out. The one thing, though, that I've noticed here for Shanley, they've really started to pick things up. Obviously, it's a closer game, just a 4-point lead now for South. The big thing, though, is they're responding to this offense from the Bruins. Earlier on, South was coming down. They were knocking down threes, and Shanley would just turn the ball over, when they got possession. But now, they're not coming down and hitting threes or making huge plays, but what they are doing is just getting quick 2s, getting layups, and just sticking with the Bruins. They haven't closed the gap quite yet, but if they can continue to answer like they are, it should only be a matter of time. South, though, to their credit, they've maintained this lead for over half of this first half now. Sometimes teams come in, they get a hot start, and then as the game goes on, they start to wear down. So far, no signs of that, still with about halfway through the first half gone. So it's a pretty good all-around start here for the Bruins.
And they're doing that with 2 things right now, a much deeper bench and a much younger team, or a much thinner bench and a much younger team. They're being very effective with that.
Yeah, 2 things you wouldn't really think would combine to be very successful. Kind of difficult factors there. Not a ton of depth and pretty young players, but they're making it work. It's been fun to watch.
Busick's going to give it to Berg. Berg's going to give it back to Busick. Busick was going to look to shoot, but it's going to give it over to Vetter. Vetter is going to throw it into Payne. Payne is going to be fouled. Shot is no good. Or shot won't count. It's going to be called on the floor. One play Shanley really likes is trying to get the ball out to Payne in the corner here, which they are going to try and do. Payne's going to throw it over to Vetter. Vetter is going to kick it out to Busick. Busick for 3. No good. And the ball is going to be rebounded by Carlson. Carlson is going to give it up to Brecky. Brecky's going to dribble ahead. And it's going to be a jump ball, Shanley ball on alternating possession.
Yeah, good work that time. Busick in there guarding, and then Payne moved in and tried to rip the ball away, able to force a jump ball that time.
That's one thing you can do with those zones. It can be really effective at forcing a lot of those traps and either turnovers or those jump balls. Vetter on the cut. It's going to be good for 2 off the Berg assist. And this lead is down to 2.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how South responds here now. Shanley's fighting back. A young Bruins team. Let's see what they can do now with a little bit of adversity.
Nelson for 2. No good. Rebound Busick. Busick is going to push the ball. She's going to throw it ahead to Payne. Payne for 2. It's good. Byer is going to give it over to Carlson. Carlson's going to give it back. Byer for 3. No good, and it's going to go out of bounds on South. And Wagner is going to come back in for the Bruins.
Yeah, all tied up now. South's got to be a little careful. This is where that run and gun offense can maybe start to hurt you. You know, it's a pretty good time when you're coming down the court and just raining threes, but once your shooting dries up a bit, you got to be able to stay in the game and be able to fall back on, you know, your work in the paint and, you know, the maybe less flashy plays. We'll see what they can do there, you know, and how they can respond on offense to the pressure Shanley's been putting on the other end.
Wagner for three. It's good. I believe she is 4 for 4 from behind the three-point line.
Yeah, you know what, Cade? That's a pretty good response. I talked about the three-point shooting maybe drying up. That does not appear to be the case, as Addie Wagner, like you said, been lights out from three-point range.
I have her as 4 for 4 from behind the arc with 14 points out of 22 for South.
And if we haven't said this enough, she is an 8th grader, folks. Just incredible. She's shooting 35% from three on the season, 30 for 86. That is a pretty high volume of three-point shots and a very good percentage, once again, for a player her age.
She's going to be a fun player to watch for years to come.
Yeah, no kidding. Still got 4 more years of Addie Wagner after this season. That's a scary sentence for some teams in the EDC, for everyone in the EDC.
Payne is going to get the steal. Oh, she's going to dribble up, and they're going to say she was fouled by Wagner. Wagner, not a bad foul there. She's going to save the 2 points, and Payne's going to go to the line for 2. That's going to be 6 on the Bruins, and Shanley will be in the bonus for the remainder of the first half.
Yeah, not a bad foul, like you said there, just kind of trying to stop an open 2. Payne, though, is shooting 70% at the line this season, and you see her knock down that first one.
Checking in for the Deacons, number 20, Lily Rivard. In for the Bruins, number 24, Diane Carl.
And Payne will miss the second. Rebound by Nelson. Wagner's going to bring the ball up the floor as the Deacons are going to stay in the zone they've been in. Ball is going to be thrown into Basie. Basie is going to go out to Nelson. Nelson's going to try and go baseline. It's going to be out of bounds. I believe they're going to say it was out. No, they're going to say it was out on the Deacons here. A little bit of a tough call, but the refs really didn't seem to have an angle there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was tough to tell up here because I think it went out off someone's foot. From here, I thought it was out off of a Bruins foot, but I think they actually got it out off Berg.
That's going to be a 5-second violation. And now Busick is going to bring the ball up for the Deacons. Busick is going to go over to Rivard. Rivard's going to go up to Payne. Payne's going to dribble over to the right. She's going to go over to Rivard. Rivard back over to Busick. Busick over to Vetter. Vetter's going to dribble in. Vetter for 2, and this game is tied for the first time since the first bucket.
Yeah, Vetter has quietly had a really strong game, Cade. You know, she hasn't, hit a bunch of threes or done anything too spectacular, but she's just gotten a whole bunch of layups. She's done some work at the free throw line, and she's responsible for most of Shanley's points so far.
In all honesty, she's really had a really quiet but effective season that way. Just nothing too flashy, but chipping in maybe 8 or 10 points and getting some tough rebounds and playing hard defense.
Exactly. I mean, that's really exactly what a coach wants out of your senior leaders. I mean, you can't ask for better play than that.
Wagner's going to get the ball. She's going to go over to Byer. Byer for 3. In and out.
That was a long 3. Just about got it.
Busick for 2. The layup is good. Wagner is going to, it's going to be a timeout by South.
Yeah, Caden, that is probably a smart timeout here for Fargo South. They've just given up the lead for the first time in a very long time. 24-22 now in favor of Shanley. This game obviously is in a good situation. You know, I think you're still really happy with how you're doing. The big key, though, is with about 6 minutes left in the first half, the big key is going to be keeping it close up until that horn sounds. If you let things start to slip away right before halftime, that can often carry over into the second half, and so you got to be really careful not to let it get out of hand. I'd say you want to keep it in that 5-6 point range. I think if you can do that, that's more than a success.
If you can keep it in that 5-6 point range, you're going to be in a really good shape as we finish up this timeout.
Obviously, though, I think what South is going to try to do, they're playing to win. I don't think they're going to be content with that 5-6 point margin. They're going to try to take the lead before this first half is all said and done.
Ball is going to be inbounded to Bayer. Bayer's going to give it over to Wagner. She's going to try and beat Busick on the baseline. She's going to get trapped, but she's going to get over to Nelson. Nelson is going to foul. Is going to get fouled by Rivard, and that'll be the 6th on the Deacons. Both teams will be in the bonus for the remainder of the half. That's Rivard's 2nd. And Bayer's now going to inbound. Wagner's going to bring it up for South. It's going to go over to Bayer. Over to Wagner. Wagner, a deep 3. No good. She's going to get her own rebound and shoot for 2. No good. Rebound on Basie. Basie, no good. It's going to be rebounded by Nelson. Nelson, no good. Good rebound, Basie. Basie, and it's good.
What an effort there for Fargo South in the offensive zone, just fighting for their own rebounds that time. Great tenacity there for the Bruins.
Yeah, what a fighting effort right now. That was hard work, and they got it done.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. That's the reason we're all tied up. South has been more than willing to get in the mud and get in there and fight for every inch in this game. And like I said, that's why we're all tied up.
Berg will make her first. And, what South can do, they can basically spoil Shanley's shot at having the 1 or 2 seed right now if they can win this game. And that's what you're playing for if you're South.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that'd be a big win for them. It'd be a big win for the program going forward. To be able to pull that win off with such a young team, I think is, it would be really scary to think what this team will do then when they're a little older. So, be a big win going forward.
And let's be honest. If they beat Shanley, they've beaten the Evil Empire. 3 state championships. How many girls going D1 or D2 scholarships? This would be defeating the Empire.
Yeah, obviously a lot of game left to be played, though. We may be thinking about it up here, but down there they're just thinking about tying this thing up as they trail by 2 now with 5 minutes left in the first half.
Nelson will bring it over to the top of the key. She's going to throw over to Wagner. Wagner's going to be guarded by Berg. She's going to be guarded by Busick now. Ball is going to go in to Basie. It's going to be deflected by Payne. Payne's going to go in. Her shot's going to go. They're gonna just tell Wagner to tie her shoe right now.
Bit of an awkward stop and play there. But Kate, I tell you what, Riley Payne there with the steal, that's part of what makes her game so strong. We all know about how good she is offensively, averaging almost 20 points a game this season, but she's also averaging 3.7 steals a game, which is a crazy number.
That is a big number, and a number that let's just say you get those 4 steals, you're stealing 4 possessions, which could be as much as, that could be about a 16-point swing in your favor. That wins games.
Yeah, no doubt about it, as she tries for the steal that time, but gets called for the foul.
That should send Nelson to the free throw line. 9 for 1 and 1. That'll be Payne's first.
At the free throw line, number 22, Bryn Nelson, shooting the bonus.
Nelson shooting 45% at the free throw line this season, but not on a very large volume, only 11 tries.
She'll make the first and get the second half of the 1-on-1. One thing these free throws do is Wagner's going to have to play a lot of minutes for South. They can give her some in-game rest, which is invaluable when they're going to need her to play the volume she'll have to play.
Yeah, no doubt. I think in order for South to win this game, they not only have to make a lot of trips to the line, but I think they also are going to have to convert when they get there. If they can't do that, I don't think they're going to have much of a shot here. So that'll be a big key for them.
Shanley's going to come out in the zone press as opposed to the man they've been in. Wagner's going to get the ball, guarded by Busick. She's gonna get trapped, and she's gonna throw it ahead to Basie. Basie's gonna go over to Nelson. Nelson's gonna throw into Brecky. Back over to Nelson. Over to Wagner at the top of the key, guarded by Payne. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Byers going to throw it into Nelson. Nelson for 2. No good. Rebound Payne. Payne will push the ball up for the Deacons. She's going to throw it into Berg. Berg for no good. And it's going to be rebounded by Basie. Wagner's going to bring it up for the Bruins. Ball's going to go over to Byer. Byer's going to try and dribble in, but she's going to throw it to Wagner. Back out to Breyer, over to Brecky. It's going to be an over and back. It's going to go out of bounds on South, and it'll be Shanley basketball with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, either way that time it was going out or it was going to be an over and back. And that's 2 possessions in a row where South has really been stymied by Shanley. I mean, they really couldn't find any hole in the Deacon defense on either possession.
That's what can happen when you just play that solid lockdown man, and it is very hard to stop. I mean, that's just a situation where you just have to straight up be the better player. And, I mean, that's tough when you're that much younger. And, I mean, the records say you're just not better.
On the flip side, though, obviously Shanley gets the 2 there, but I've been pretty impressed with South's defense here as well, especially on these last couple possessions. Like I said, Shanley does get 2 points out of that trip, but they had to really work for him.
And that's something you got to do as South, wear down this Shanley team that believes that this shouldn't be a game. Wagner's going to go up for 2. Shot is no good. Rebound Payne. Payne's going to push it up the floor. She's going to dribble in. A little bit of a wild shot, but will get fouled and go to the line.
And we did talk about how important the free throw line would be for Fargo South, to score in, but it's also going to be really important to not send Shanley to the line because the Deacons can really hurt you when they start getting a lot of free throws. Again, they're the older team. They're just a bit more efficient when they do get to the line. They do a better job of capitalizing than a younger squad like South. So not only are you going to have to be pretty good when you do go to the line, but you're going to have to keep Shanley from making a lot of trips as Payne goes 2 for 2 there.
Wagner's going to throw ahead to Nelson. Nelson's going to throw it up ahead to Brecky. Brecky over to Holson, and she's going to go to the line for 2 after the foul. That's Payne's second.
Some big free throws now here for Hazelton. Bruins do trail by 6 with a little over 2 minutes to go in this first half, and that's a big hit for her right there.
And that brings us down to a 5-point game with about 2 minutes left.
Hazelton on the season is averaging 44% at the free throw line.
She's going to miss the second. Payne will come up with the rebound. She'll throw the ball ahead to Manuel. Manuel for 2. It's good. Wagner's going to bring the ball up. Ball is going to go ahead to Hazelton. Over to Brecky. Back over to Wagner. Wagner with a deep 3.
Holy cow!
I don't know if some of the South boys could make that shot. Wow.
I mean, you saw their reaction. They went nuts for that one. She practically shot that thing from half court, Cade.
She shot at that from the volleyball line. The last person I've seen take that shot multiple times in a game, Patrick Strom in about 2014 for Shanley.
I mean, just wild. And a good response here for Shanley now. They're going to get a trip to the line. Berg gets the 2 and the foul. But still, I mean, you can't deny the kind of energy that brings your team. Addie Wagner hitting such a deep 3.
I mean, wow, what a play.
Yeah, not a lot of words you can use there.
She's going to take another 3. That's going to be no good. She's at 17 for the game at half.
Wild. Just wild.
Payne's going to throw it into Berg. Berg's going to go back out to Payne. Payne for 3. No good. Rebound Nelson. Nelson's going to give it over to Wagner with 1:15 left in the half. Basie's going to give Wagner a screen. Ball's going to go over to Nelson. Over to Brecky. Back out to Nelson. Over to Wagner. Wagner looked to shoot, but she's going to dribble in and hand it off to Nelson. Back over to Wagner. Over to Basie. Basie's going to go out to Brecky. Brecky for 3, no good. Rebound Brecky. Brecky for 2, no good. Rebound Berg. She's going to get over to, it's going to be taken by Brecky. Brecky's going to dribble in. A little scramble for the ball here. It's going to be a jump ball, South basketball. After a little bit of a wild minute of the ball going all over the place. And yes, it will be South basketball underneath. Ball is going to be thrown into Nelson. Nelson over to Wagner. She's going to throw it into Basie. Basie over to Holston. Over to Basie. Basie for 2. No good. Rebound Payne. Payne's going to dribble it ahead. Overhead to Berg. Berg for 2. It's good. Wagner's going to bring the ball up with about 12 seconds left. Oh, pass it up to Nelson. It's going to go out of bounds. It'll be Deacon basketball with 5 seconds left in the half.
That's a tough break for South there. Trailing by 9 now. They could have really used a response. Instead, they're going to turn this one over and risk some more points by Shanley. That hurts.
Shanley's going to bring in a couple of, we're going to call them more pure shooters for this in Rivard and Busick. Busick's going to get the ball, and she's going to try and dribble up. She's going to get trapped and have to just, no, she's going to throw it ahead to Rivard, and Shanley's not going to get a shot off.
And not exactly what you want if you're Shanley, but you're still happy just to keep South from getting a response before the end of the half. That's a pretty solid way to end the half for Shanley, especially considering how things started. Still, though, if you're Fargo South, I know you want to, I know you want the lead here or be tied or have it a little closer, but a 9-point deficit is, I think, a success for that first half.
Yeah, that is definitely a success, and you have got to be, if you are South, just loving the show Wagner is putting on for you
sure.
right now. 17, including 5 for 6 behind the three-point line.
Yeah, I mean, not much more you can say there. Great performance from Wagner. I'm excited to see what the second half has got, Cade.
Yeah, me too, Jed.
So stick around, folks. We'll have that finish for you in just a couple of minutes.
And we're back to McCormick Gymnasium, where the Fargo Shanley Deacons lead the Fargo South Spartans 39-30.
Yeah, Cade, you know, we're looking for a pretty good finish here. I think we got some stuff to talk about, but before we get to that, folks, we want to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at ShanleyAthleticClub.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member, and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon athletics to a higher level. And Cade, like you said, we're right back to the action here. Shanley up 39-30, taking the lead at the end of the half there. Pretty strong finish to the half for Shanley. We talked about how South did not want that to happen, though. You know, we've often seen teams, if they can't finish the first half strong, it often bleeds into the second and they get into a hole. Do you think we might see that happen here?
I think it's going to all come down to Wagner. If she can keep this team in the game, whether it's even just third passing, it doesn't need to be third deep threes. If she can keep the tempo up, they're going to stand a chance. If she falters, they're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Definitely. She's kind of the linchpin for South.
Busick's going to dribble around, throw it out to Payne. Payne for three. It's going to be out of bounds on the Deacons. And Shanley's going to set up in a press. They're going to go man-to-man. As Brecky is going to inbound. She's going to throw it over to Nelson. Nelson's going to lose that and give it right back to the Deacons.
So neither team possessing very long to start this second half off. Just 9 seconds in.
Payne's going to inbound to Busick. Busick's going to bring it around to the top of the key. She's going to throw it out to Vetter. Vetter's going to get by. She's going to go up to no good. Rebound Nelson. Nelson's going to give it over to Wagner. Wagner's going to bring the ball up. Wagner's going to be guarded by Busick. Over to Brecky. It's going to go over to Basie. Basie over to Wagner. Wagner's going to pull it out. 11 seconds on the shot clock. She's going to dribble in over to Brecky. Brecky's going to throw it over to Nelson. Nelson for three. No good. It's going to end up in Basie's hands. Basie's shot, no good. She's going to it's going to be a jump ball, and it will be South possession. So they were able to save a possession there, even though it kind of looked like they should have got a basket. They at least got the ball back and didn't give it into Shanley's potent offense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so far, I think this has been a pretty successful start for Fargo South.
Wagner's looking to make a move. She's going to give it over to Basie. Basie over to Nelson. Nelson over to Brecky. Brecky over to Holston. Holston over to Nelson. Nelson for three. In and out. And it's going to end up in the hands of Brecky.
South doing an incredible job hanging on to this ball.
Yeah, no kidding, Jed. Brecky's going to get the ball. She's going to throw it into Basie. Basie for two. That's good.
Finally.
After what felt like about a 3-minute possession,
no
because
kidding.
It was 2 minutes, but.
Well, I mean, well fought for, Cade. You know, I mean, they just kept getting back to that ball. They were not going to let it go until they got points.
Busick going to be no good for two. Rebound Brecky. Over to Wagner. Wagner is going to go against Payne. Over to Holston. Over to Brecky. Wagner for three. No good. Rebound Holston. Holston over to Brecky. Brecky's going to dribble in. She's going to go over to Wagner. Wagner over to Nelson. Nelson over to Wagner at the top of the key. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Over to Basie. Basie's going to go over to Brecky. Ball into Basie. And she's going to throw a pass that's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be Deacon basketball.
Yeah, tough break on another long possession there for Fargo South. Not able to get points that time, but still, I'm still really impressed with the way they've been able to hang on to the ball.
Busick can go over to Payne. Payne's going to get a screen, and she's going to go for 3. No good. Rebound, Basie. Wagner's going to bring the ball up. Over to Brecky. Down to Nelson in the corner. You get a screen from Holton. Ball is going to be passed in. Brecky for 2. And this lead of Shanley's has been cut down to 5.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, Kate, I was not so sure South was going to be able to come out firing like this. We often see teams, keep it close with Shanley in the first half and then run out of steam. Not the case at all so far here for South.
It's going to be a foul on South. I'm not quite sure. It's going to be on Nelson, actually. And Vetter will go to the line.
Yeah, get a look at the replay here. And yeah, I mean, you see Nelson get the hand in there trying to get on the ball. Instead, she gets Vetter's arm.
Vetter's going to miss the first. And that's kind of been a struggle for the Deacons this year, just not putting the teams away with your free throws.
Yeah, I think it's something you would expect them to just be a little better at, with a lot of the experience they've got. But then again, they can do stuff like that, and that makes up for it.
Yeah, Payne getting that nice rebound put back that makes up for a rough trip. Brecky's going to throw over Wagner. Wagner over to Holston. Holston's going to dribble in. She's going to go over to Brecky. Brecky to Nelson. Nelson for 3. It's good, and this lead is cut down to 4.
Cade, we've been so impressed with Addie Wagner's three-point shooting, you almost forget about Nelson. I mean, Bryn Nelson can really make it rain from three-point range as well.
Rivard's going to dribble in. Payne's going to get the ball. She's going to get a screen. She's not going to use it, but she's going to go up for 2. No good. Rebound, Busick. Busick over to a cutting Berg. Berg for 2. It's good.
Wide open lane there for Berg. Just no one there for South. Bit of a miscommunication. I think they thought she lost the pass for a second, so they all went after the ball, but she got back to it, and there was no one left.
Wagner's going to take the ball. Nelson's going to get the ball all on the right wing. She's going to give it back to Wagner. Over to Nelson. Nelson for 3. It's good.
Oh, man. Addie Wagner got the first half, and I guess Bryn Nelson gets the second half when it comes to three-point shooting. They have both been incredible.
One thing Shanley's doing, after Payne makes that 3, they're starting to guard Wagner all the way up to that volleyball lane where she made her deep shot, but that does expose the outside corners especially, and that's where Nelson has made both her shots.
Right, Shanley's put so many resources into guarding Wagner. Now they've kind of left Nelson undefended. And right now it just seems like 5 girls isn't enough for the Shanley defense.
Hazelton's going to dribble around. Going to be a foul on Rivard. I believe that's her third.
Yeah, that is the case, and that is their first team foul of this second half. Both teams sitting at only 1 right now. That's pretty impressive.
A lot slower in the fouls place. We have had a lot longer possessions for South.
Yeah, that's true. They've really done a good job with those long possessions, and Shanley, to their credit, has done a good job not biting and fouling them.
Berg's going to get the rebound, and Busick's going to bring the ball up. Busick's going to throw it to Vetter. Vetter for 2. It's good. Timeout Deacons after the made bucket.
Excellent shot there for Julia Vetter. She was still kind of moving when she shot that one. I saw her take the shot, saw the feet weren't quite set, and did not think that had much of a chance, but she proved me wrong there. That thing was perfect, right where it needed to be. A real impressive catch and shoot that time.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous about that shot. I mean, no one around to get a rebound, but hey, it went in, makes up for it all.
Absolutely. So Shanley, still it's still been good for Shanley in this second half. Obviously, you're up by 7. But again, you got to tip the cap here to South. They will not go away. And they're doing it in an entertaining fashion, too. They're hitting those threes to stay in it. Shanley's been responding with the 2-pointers, but at the end of the day, 3 points is more than 2, and that's what's keeping South in it.
Yeah, and Shanley, continues to devote more and more resources to just keeping Wagner from beating them one-on-one.
Right.
But that's one of the things that's allowing this these possessions to lengthen out. Now, if you're Shanley, that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as you keep scoring along with South. Nelson's going to make the bucket and bring it down to a 5-point game again.
And folks, just to let you know, it is 47-42. Scoreboard currently reads 45. That's just a little issue on our end. Try to get that back up to date. But again, 47-42.
Payne is going to be good from 2. A really nice shot as Wagner's going to throw it ahead to Nelson. Nelson's going to give it back to Wagner. Wagner's going to give it to Basie. Over to Brecky. Back over to Wagner. Wagner's going to go in. She's going to pass it off to Holston. Holston, no good. Rebound, Berg. Berg's going to try and bring the ball up herself. She's going to give it over to Busick at the top of the key. Busick's going to throw it into Berg. Berg's going to give it to Manuel. Manuel's going to dribble in. Shot, no good. It's going to be brought up by Wagner. Basie's going to take the ball, throw it over to Nelson. Looked a little surprised, but she was able to hang on. Nelson's going to throw it over to Brecky. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Holston's going to bring it in, shoot, no good. Rebound, Payne. Payne's going to throw it ahead to Busick. Busick's going to give it over to Vetter. Vetter's going to try and dribble in. Shot, no good. Rebound, Berg. Berg is going to just kind of lose it there, and it's going to go out of bounds on her.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there, Kate. I think she kind of got tripped up with the South defenders. I don't think it was a foul. I think she just lost her footing there, and in turn, that's a turnover for Shanley.
Yeah, she kind of got up smiling, so you just kind of think she might have just lost it there, but
yeah.
A little bit of an interesting place. They're going to call a foul on South on the end of that, though.
Yeah, that was a couple of things on that play. First of all, you saw Wagner cutting in there, which she does not do too often, more of a shooter, but she tried to cut in there, get to the paint, lost the ball behind her, but it just kind of bounced back into her arms. But the time she lost when she lost possession ended up hurting her. Shanley got to the ball, ripped it away, and then when the Bruins tried to get it back, they committed the foul.
You know, one person at this point that Shanley is really missing is Kelly Chrisman. I believe she went home sick today and isn't playing. I think that's a player down low that they would really like to have a few minutes from tonight.
Absolutely, Cade. She gives great depth in the paint. And one part of Chrisman's game that's a little bit underrated, looking at the stat sheet right now, Kelly Chrisman is 18 for 20 at the free throw line this season, shooting 90%, something they could really use.
That would be really helpful, especially if South late in the game needs to start fouling, which very well could happen in the near future, or as this game sticks at around, about a 7-8 point margin.
Right.
13 foul. Taryn Hopper checking in. Julia Vetter shooting 1.
So Vetter going to try to complete the three-point play here, Cade. That'd be big for Shanley, get this lead up to 8.
But South, just hanging around.
Yeah, they won't go away. Not many other ways to put it. They're just sticking with it.
But, if you're Shanley, you're really not improving upon this lead either, which is something you got to do.
Right,
you got to push this up a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Cade. They've kind of gotten on the cusp of breaking it open maybe, and then South comes right back, although that will help.
But for the half, it's flat. It's still a 9-point game, just like when we left at half.
Yeah, right. They have not improved upon it, like you said.
Schroeder is going to be good and bring it back down to 7, and that's just kind of that back and forth we've seen a lot of. Hoffer's going to dribble around over to Manuel. Manuel into Berg. Berg over to Vetter. Vetter's going to throw it out to Payne. Payne over to Manuel. Manuel's going to look to shoot. No good. It's going to go out of bounds on South. It'll stay Deacon basketball. And Payne is going to inbound for the Deacons. Ball's going to go into Vetter. Vetter, it's good off the bank, and we're just sticking around that 9-point margin for Shanley that South can't seem to break through.
Yeah, And once again, that was Julia Vetter with the 2. She just continues to rack up the points here.
Nelson's going to get the ball. She's going to dribble around. She's going to take a shot from deep. No good, and it's going to be rebounded by Hoffer. She's going to give it up to Berg. Berg's going to give it to Manuel. Manuel is going to push it up the left side over to Vetter. Vetter's going to throw it out to Hoffer. Hoffer over to Vetter. Vetter is going to dribble in. Shot no good, but she's going to go to the line now for 2 and try to extend this lead.
Yeah, Julia Vetter has also made a whole bunch of trips to the free throw line. The one problem is she has not shot great from there so far tonight, hovering around 50% on the season. So she hasn't been able to capitalize too often, but the fact that she is making the trips has helped her team a lot. So, you want to be converting when you get there, but just getting there in the first place is always beneficial.
Be a timeout by South, and you expect them to try and figure out something to try and break Shanley's zone, a one-time play that's maybe going to get you a quick bucket, or try and kick it out to Wagner, who really hasn't got her shot from 3 yet this half.
Yeah, Kate, I think the big thing for South right now, I think we might see him start to take some bigger swings here. Like you said, they just haven't been able to break through that 9-point margin. They're not letting it get too far away from 9, but they're also not making the game much closer than 9. So I think at this point, South has just kind of decided, if we really want to win, we're going to have to just take some shots. And what's the difference between losing by 9 and losing by 15 or 20,
Mm-hmm. And I think South is really going to try and make an effort to let Nelson and Wagner play a little bit of a two-man game and try and work each other over, and work each other, just try and play almost 2-on-2 so they can get their own just shots for their 2 best players.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as this timeout comes to a close, Vetter will go back to the line to shoot her second shot.
All right, kids, so let's see. Like you said, Vetter's got one more shot here, and then we're going to see what South's got up their sleeves. Took a long time out there. You hope they put it to good use. Like I said, I think we're just going to see them taking some bigger swings, taking some risks, because, why not?
Vetter's going to make the second, so she was perfect on that trip to the line. Wagner's going to come up guarded by Manuel. Manuel, really good defender. They're trying to make sure that Wagner can't play her game right now. Wagner's going to get the ball again. She's going to go over to Byer. Byer over to Brecky. Brecky over to Wagner. Wagner into Byer. Byer, that shot got blocked. It'll stay South ball.
Real nice block that time behind the play. I think it was Berg who got the hand on it.
I believe so.
Not a surprise given the height and overall just the defensive talent she's got.
Wagner's going to get the ball in the corner. She's going to go baseline. And she's going to throw it over to Brecky, excuse me. It's going to be a walk there on Nelson, and it'll be Shanley ball. Daniel's going to bring the ball up. Give it over to Vetter. Berg is going to get fouled by Schroeder, and she will go to the line for 2.
Fouls on number 40, Paige Schroeder, first personal, 15 foul.
Berg will make her first. Miss her second, rebound Wagner. But now we've started to see Shanley stretch that lead out a little bit. It's hit the double digits, and we'll see if South can respond. They're going to call a travel, and it's going to go back to Shanley. But now South needs a stop.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Kate, that could be a big travel. That's just overall, I think, a big turnover for South. If they can keep Shanley from scoring here, it'll be big. But I think if Shanley can even just get a quick 2 here, that might really open the door.
It's going to be rebounded by Brecky. Brecky's going to get it out to Wagner. Wagner's going to throw it up ahead, and it's going to be no good. Rebound Payne. Byer on the miss. It's going to go out of bounds on South.
And Cade, they got the stop there. They made a great play to generate some offense, but they just could not get the finish. And so obviously a good job getting the stop. You needed to do that, but you also got to get some points back the other way as well.
You need to get a play right now. There's about 7 minutes left in the game. Payne is going to put it up for 2. Push it to 14 now.
That one hurts, but again, I'm not counting South out of this one with 7 minutes left. Just got to see something. Even a 2 here, even just a simple layup, just to give you a little life.
I want to see Wagner or Nelson take a shot here to try and make something happen.
Well, there's your shot, but it will not go.
Wagner's going to get the rebound after Byers' miss, and Wagner's going to go to the line now.
So they didn't get the shot, but they do get the trip to the line. That's going to be big for Fargo South.
That'll be Manuel, her first personal. Wagner's going to miss the first.
Wagner is their best free throw shooter, shooting 68% for the season on a pretty high volume, 34 for 50.
Second will go in as Vetter will inbound. Manuel will bring the ball up. It's going to be a timeout by the Deacons.
Full timeout taken by the Deacons.
And so with this timeout, folks, we will once again remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathleticClub.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level. And Kate, you know, it's interesting. You know, South took that full timeout a couple minutes ago, and I'd argue they looked a little sluggish almost coming out of that timeout. I wonder if maybe they can use this timeout taken by Shanley better to their advantage than they did with their own, you know?
I mean, yeah, you'd like to see that. You almost just wonder, though, is it just the clock is or the minutes played is starting to wear on them?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this second half has flown by. It has gone extremely fast. And, I mean, you look at the number of players with their warm-ups off, I count 10 on Shanley's, only about 8 or 9, only 8 on South's bench, and that'll make it a little bit harder, especially when you got your best players playing basically 80 or 90% of the minutes.
Absolutely. You know, two girls might not seem like a huge difference, but when you get into this stage in the game, it absolutely is.
Wagner's going to bring the ball up for South. It's going to be poked away by Vetter, and it's going to stay South basketball. One thing I've liked that Shanley's done, 2 fouls. That's really a lot better than what was happening in the first half. It keeps girls out of trouble.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They have just not given Fargo South many opportunities at all at the line. South, meanwhile, has committed 5 fouls, which isn't a bad number, but a lot of them have been shooting fouls, and Shanley's done a much better job capitalizing on those in the second half than compared to the first.
Wagner's going to take the ball at the top of the key. Ball is going to go over to Brecky. It's going to be a tie-up, and it's going to be Shanley ball on the alternating possession.
That's nice work defensively for Shanley. I think that was Vetter in there who forced that. Again, just continuing to have a really solid game.
Busic's going to get the ball. She's going to shoot for 3. No good. Little long rebound manual. Busic will get the ball back and over to Vetter. Vetter's going to dribble in. She's going to go out to Busic. Busic's going to go over to Manuel. Manuel over to Berg. Payne's going to, no, it's going to be poked away, and Nelson's going to give it over to Wagner, who will bring the ball up as she's guarded by Manuel. Vetter is going to poke the ball away, and she's going to try a 2. It's going to be blocked there by Wagner, and it'll be South ball after a bunch of hands seem to be touching it, but it will be Shanley or South basketball.
Vetter making another big play again on defense, and you know, we said earlier she was having quietly a really strong game. I don't think it's so quiet anymore just because of the sheer volume of points she's scored and the number of turnovers she's forced defensively.
Basie's going to get the ball. It's going to go up to Brecky. Brecky for 2. No good. Rebound, Rivard, but she's going to step out of bounds, and it will be South basketball.
Another girl on the south side of things I think we haven't talked about a ton. Sammy Hazelton has had a pretty strong game. The one thing about her game that's really impressed me, she's only 5'4", but she's been one of their best rebounders out there, fighting for a lot of balls. Also defensively has been in there. Just kind of, again, a quiet game. Not a ton of points, but the impact has been felt pretty widespread, and now you see her at the free throw line here.
And that is a freshman, too.
Yeah, that's another good point. Another one of these really young players for South.
And if we look at the girls that they have in right now, I count 2 8th graders, 2 freshmen, and a senior.
I mean, that's just unbelievable, you know, for anyone to be fielding a lineup that young in the first place, but to then be, you know, this close against one of the top teams in the region with a lineup that young is just really impressive.
Busick's going to push the ball up. She's going to go over to Visser. Visser's going to go out to Rivard. Rivard over to Vetter. Vetter's going to dribble in. Vetter, no good. Rebound, Brecky. Brecky over to Wagner. Wagner will push the ball up, guarded by Busick. Let's go ahead to, it's going to be a walk on South. And Holston is obviously in pain, not quite sure what happened.
Yeah, Kate, unfortunately, Sammy Hazelton, girl I was talking about who had a really big impact for South, so you know, played a lot of minutes, played really well in this game. She's shaken up right now with what appears to be an injury to the arm, so hopefully for South she'll be okay, because like I said, she's been having a really strong game.
I mean, yeah, that's never something you want to happen to anyone getting hurt. I mean, we're hoping she's going to be all right, and obviously don't want to speculate.
Right, yeah, I mean, you know, looks kind of like the arm she's holding, but like you said, don't know what it is for sure, and so we won't speculate. Right now, though, game-wise, Shanley up 60-48. You know, okay, they did kind of break it open at around the 8-7 minute mark, but I don't think to the degree we thought it was going to go. Again, South continues to keep this close.
They're keeping the game close, but, I mean, the thing that is really becoming a problem for South now, it's not both teams have scored 10 points. Nobody's really scoring.
Right.
So they always say it's harder to go and play offense than defense, and that's what South needs to do to make this a game.
For sure, and so, you know, like you said, Cade, that's been the problem. They've only had 18 points here in this second half.
Busick's going to throw over to Rivard. Rivard's going to dribble around over to Visser. Visser over to Berg. Berg over to Busick. Busick's going to dribble in, back out to Rivard. Rivard's going to throw into Vetter. Vetter, it's going to be no good, and she will go to the line.
Folks, don't forget at 7:30, well, scheduled for 7:30, it will not be 7:30 now. This game got started a little late, so we're running a bit behind, but we will have the boys game for you about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one. You're going to want to tune in for that, though, a little early, because it will be senior night like it was for the girls, so be sure to check that out. Senior night should be about 5 minutes before the start of the game. So, again, boys game 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one, and be sure to tune in early for the senior night festivities.
Nelson's going to dribble up. She's going to still. No, Busick is going to. Okay, they're going to call a foul after a little bit of confusion there.
Couple of things happening there. Ultimately, yeah, Kate, it's a foul.
They're going to call it on Visser. I think that might be a wrong number. I don't think she was near the play, but I'm not quite sure.
Actually, Cade, you know what? She came in there right at the end. I think they could have gotten her or Rivard. They were both kind of reaching, but Visser, I think, was the last one in there.
Busick's going to get the steal. She's going to get fouled. She's going to go to the line. I mean, she's actually a really good free throw shooter. The stats might not say it yet. This is only her second game after an ACL, but let's see if she can convert at the line.
Yeah, as we know, free throw shooting has been a bit of an issue for Shanley this season.
She'll make the first. Wagner recorded her second on the foul. And she'll make the second. Ball's going to be inbounded to Wagner. Wagner guarded by Busick. going to get thrown ahead to Carlson. Carlson's going to throw it over to Wagner. Wagner from the corner. No good. Carlson's going to get the rebound. Wagner is going to dribble in, pass it over to Basie. Vetter's going to come out with the ball. Vetter's going to push the ball ahead. She's going to shoot for 2. No good. Not quite sure what they called there.
Yeah, there was I think a foul called down there, but I don't think some of the players knew that. Half the players kept going, the other half stopped.
They called Lily Rivard for her 4th. Ball got tipped there, I believe, and Berg came out with it. Vetter is going to throw it into Visser. Visser, she will go to the line after being fouled.
Yeah, not quite able to get the shot to go, but she is able to get the trip to the line.
Nelson is going to be called for the foul. That'll be her 3rd. As Visser makes the 1st. Visser will make the 2nd. Carlson's going to bring the ball up. Ball is going to be thrown ahead to Nelson. Nelson's going to dribble in. They're going to call her for a walk.
Yeah, that's another turnover for Fargo South, and now Shanley up 18. They have taken some control here. I think that's been the other big thing for Fargo South in this second half. Well, the two go really hand in hand. I mean, they haven't been able to score, and that's been in large part because of the turnovers. They've had some trouble with shooting, but for the most part, they've remained accurate there. It's just been the fouls and the turnovers that hurt them.
Wagner's going to get called for the walk, and it will be Shanley basketball again.
Yeah, it's been a lot of those, Kate. It's been a lot of travels, especially in the latter part of this second half, just a ton of travels.
They're going to call that one out of bounds on the Deacons, and it will – no, they're going to say on the Deacons, and South will inbound. Ball is going to be inbounded to Nelson. Nelson, she stepped out of bounds, and it'll be Shanley basketball again.
And yeah, Kate, I think it's just kind of been stuff like that. That's not the first time we've seen that happen here in the second half, as now South takes a quick 30-second timeout. I think a lot of that has to be attributed, though, to two things. I mean, I think the first big one is fatigue, just because they've been playing a lot of these starters for really heavy minutes. And the other one is what we talked about pregame, just the youth of this team can lead to a lot of those errors.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit pressured and suddenly you get nervous and suddenly you're stepping out of bounds. I mean, it happens like that. You just don't see, you just get nervous and stuff happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, though, I mean, I don't think it really matters what this final ends up being. If you're South, you got to be happy with what's happened here. I think so, with how close that first half was and how close most of the second half was. Really, the only basketball I think Fargo South should be unhappy with is, the last stages of this second half, and even then.
Vetter drills the 3.
Continuing to have an excellent game.
Basie and the foul.
Nice response for the Bruins. That's what they really needed to do more of in this half.
It's going to be on Sierra Berg, her first.
Basie shooting 1.
Then there's 2 minutes, 44 seconds left. We're going to see if Coach Jacobson is going to get a couple more of those seniors in for the last couple of minutes. Vetter is going to push the ball up the floor. Give it over to Busick. Busick's going to throw it over to Payne. Payne is going to throw it back over to Visser. Visser into Berg. Berg over to Vetter. Vetter for 2. Rebound Busick. Payne's going to get the ball. Give it over to Visser. She's going to lose it. And Vetter is going to throw it out to Busick. Busick's going to dribble and give it over to Berg. Berg's going to throw up a little bit of a wild shot. Rebound Payne. Payne is going to go to the line for 2.
Fouls on number 42, Maggie Macy, her 3rd personal.
Payne will miss the first. And that'll be Basie's third. Make the second. Carlson's going to push the ball up for South. It's going to be thrown ahead to Nelson. Nelson for 3.
Well, I mean, it's not a make, but it's it's more entertaining than your regular miss. I mean, got to find some positive in that.
Yeah, that's a jump ball, so it should stay South ball on rotating possession. Now we got to get a basketball to get that ball out of there. No, they're going to bring in the football star, Haley Buckles, to knock it out.
Big pressure here for Buckles. Gets it on the first try. An ultimate professional there, Haley Buckles, taking care of business. Crowd comes to its feet as Buckles gets the job done. That's the guy you want doing it, putting in the work in the clutch moments, Kate.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love that.
Big-time performance from Haley Buckles there.
As Hoffer will be checking in for the Deacons. Wagner's going to get the ball in the corner, throw it into Basie. Basie's going to get called for another traveling. I mean, it has been tough to be South tonight. They have been called for travel after travel in the second half.
Yeah, that has been just really surprising because we didn't see too much of that in the first half. And like I said, I think a lot of that can be attributed to fatigue, but to a degree, I mean, you just got to wonder what happened because, I mean, I don't think that's all just being tired, you know? I mean, that's a lot of travels. It seems like every other possession.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Jed. That is how that happens, though.
Yeah, sometimes that's just how it goes. No real explanation. You just find yourself slipping up like that. And again, it just hasn't been. Things just haven't worked quite how Fargo South wanted in the second half.
And LaFour and Warner are going to check in for the Deacons now. Well, for the last couple of minutes on senior night, got to feel really good for them.
Yeah, no doubt. And they played pretty well, I'd say, in the opening stages. You know, South, it just came out firing so hard, there wasn't much they could do the way they were hitting those threes.
I mean, South played an excellent game tonight, gave Shanley much more of a fight than they were looking for, no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think, that trap game we talked about, it's a bit of a cliche, but I think there was a lot of truth to it. I think more than anything, Shanley was just pretty worn out from a huge game against Davies. You can just, both mentally and physically, you're just kind of exhausted when you have games like that. And South caught them off guard. They forced Shanley to really pull it together, and they made this tight really all the way into the last parts of the second half.
They played a really nice game. Can't ask any more from a team like this. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch in years to come.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Warner's going to make the 2.
As the shot clock was winding down, Alexis Warner.
The senior, got to love that from her. I mean, that is fun to watch for the senior. Feel really good for her. Nelson's going to make the kind of crazy off balance 2.
Yeah, very nice response there for Bryn Nelson.
Mattern's going to bring the ball up for the Deacons. Warner's going to get the ball. We're going to try and pass it in, and it's going to be stolen. Thrown up ahead to Nelson. Nelson's going to pull up for 2. No good. And it will be South ball with 14 seconds remaining in the game. Basie for 2. She will make the basket and the foul.
That's the story of South's night. They have shown just a ton of fight. They have played, they've played hard the entire game. And even with just, 12 seconds left right now, they're still going after it. Able to cut the deficit there to 18.
You got to tip your hat to this young team. They played well, and they deserve a lot of credit tonight.
For sure.
Mattern's just going to dribble it out with about 5 seconds left. And that should be the game.
The final score.
So, Kate, Shanley able to pull it out, 72-54. It was close throughout most of it. Last part of the second half, though, they just were able to open things up and really, I think, just outlast the Bruins.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we kind of expected coming in. And if anything, we expected South to not play as well. So you got to really tip your hats after quite the game from South and quite the fight from this young team.
For sure. Just a good performance. Underdogs on the road. Can't ask for a better performance than that. So, folks, we are going to step away for about 20 minutes, but do not go anywhere because after this break, it is a big-time game. South and Shanley boys battle it out. Huge game, so don't go anywhere. That'll be a fun one coming up in, well, you see it on the clock there, 18 minutes and 40 seconds.
I'd
so
come back
tuned.
in about 15 minutes, though, to catch the beginning of the senior night for the boys, though.
Absolutely, yes, Cade, thank you. Again, boys will have senior night as well, just like the girls did, so yeah. About 18 and a half minutes till the game starts, but like Kate said, it'll probably be more like 15 minutes when senior night starts. So come back for that, folks. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School basketball action. I'm Jed Thomas alongside of Kate Busick as we are getting ready for the second half of tonight's doubleheader. Earlier on, we saw the Shanley girls take on the Fargo South girls. It was a 72-54 victory in favor of Shanley. It was a fairly close game, though. South played them pretty tight at the beginning and most of the way through. We are, of course, on, though, to the boys' game. Big-time matchup between two pretty even teams. South comes in at a mark of 12-6. Shanley is 11-7. Huge conference standings implications. It is going to be a lot of fun tonight. These two teams are just always so entertaining when they go at it. South playing some of their best basketball this season, and that's pretty much the same case for Shanley. Not only do we have all of those storylines to watch, but also it is senior night here for the Deacons, and we're going to have those senior night festivities for you in a matter of seconds. So that just adds to tonight's pressure, tonight's intensity. Should be a lot of fun to watch, folks. For now, I am going to toss things down to the floor as we are just about ready to begin the senior night festivities. So don't go anywhere. We'll have those for you, and shortly after will be what should be a fantastic game.
Good evening and welcome to McCormick Gymnasium and senior night for your boys basketball team here at Shanley High School. At this time, I will introduce and honor our senior basketball players and our senior cheerleaders who are participating in one of their final home games here at Shanley High School. And we will also recognize their parents who have made all of this possible. Over the past 4 years, we have watched as these seniors have grown both as athletes and as young adults. To our senior boys from their parents, it seems like only yesterday that we watched you dribble a ball for the first time. The years have flown by. You have given us precious memories that we will treasure forever. We are so proud of the young men you have all become, both on and off the court. God bless each and every one of you. We are blessed beyond measure to have been chosen as your parents. We love you very much. Our first senior cheerleader, Shannon Doyle, daughter of Wanda and Dan Doyle. Senior cheerleader, Gabby Dye, daughter of Steve and Allison Dye. Senior cheerleader Peyton Ekman, daughter of Dave and Paula Ekman. Senior cheerleader Lexi Grotti, daughter of Monty and Connie Grotti. Senior cheerleader Tabby Kelsch, daughter of Tom and Bev Kelsch. Senior cheerleader Rachel Von Ebers, daughter of Paul and Jill Von Ebers. Student manager Joe Keller, son of Gary and Joni Keller. Senior basketball player number 3, Jim Peterson, son of Dan and Janelle Peterson. Basketball player number 12, Mason Timian, son of Dan and Heather Butler and Troy and Darla Timian. Number 14, Cam Seville, son of Dan and Maria Seville. Number 15, Tom Erie, son of John and Lori Erie. Number 20, Jake McKeever, son of Brian and Lori McKeever. Number 22, Miles Wasick, son of Dave and Crystal Wasick. Number 24, Cody Malish, son of Jason and Melissa Malish. Number 40, Chief Cava, son of Ed and Mary Cava. Number 42, Caleb Chrisman, son of Sean Chrisman and Travis and Jess Tibor. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 senior class for the Shanley Boys basketball team and cheerleading squad. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, let's play basketball.
All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to have some great basketball action coming up for you after a brief word from our sponsors.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Butler Machinery Company, Ed's Marine and Storage, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Kochman Brothers Homes, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Netrix IT, Northern Improvement Company, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Shields, and TCI Insurance.
All right, folks, welcome back. We are just minutes away from beginning this game. Jed Thomas, of course, joined by Cade Busick here. And Cade, we've talked a lot about the storylines headed into this game, but I think nothing is bigger than the potential implications to the standings that this game is going to have. These teams are just barely separated. South 12-6, Shanley 11-7. How big is this game for the EDC standings with, of course, the EDC tournament right around the corner?
Well, all right, the first thing you got to consider with these teams is that the winner of whoever finishes higher, and there are a couple of games after this, gets a home playoff game. These are the two teams that are fighting for either a home playoff game and a road playoff game, and they very, very possibly could be playing each other. So the other thing you got to remember is while South has the extra win, Shanley beat them. So they have the first tiebreaker if they win this one. All they have to do is win out, and it doesn't matter. South, on the other hand, and they need this game to get back to hold off Shanley. If they beat Shanley in this one, they are in excellent shape to get that 4th seed and a home playoff game.
Absolutely, Cade. And, you know, it's a pretty good time for South to be hitting the Deacons. You know, they've been playing some really strong basketball. They are riding a 4-game win streak headed into tonight's matchup. Mixed in there, now they had a loss to Fargo Davies that wasn't pretty. They lost that one by almost 30 points, but the game before that was kind of the game that really shocked the local basketball world as they topped West Fargo on January 23rd, 77-69. That was a huge game for Fargo South. I think it really proved to the state and the Eastern Conference that they can play versus any team. And since then, of course, they had the loss to Davies, but after that, they're on a 4-game win streak, and they're looking to be in pretty good shape headed into this game. They're hot right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that loss to Davies. I mean, they just seem to be at it again, beating on everybody. They should go in as the 1 seed as they have for a couple of years now. But this South team can really make some noise, and when you get to the EDC, records don't matter. 2 wins and you're in.
Right, Kate. So that's the other big thing. The wins matter, for seeding and all that sort of stuff. But you're right. Once it comes to the tournament, all that regular season stuff kind of goes out the window, except for, of course, seeding. Now, for Shanley, they have been playing pretty well down the stretch, although their last 2 games, they've hit a rough patch. They lost their last game to Davies, 75-65. It was only a 10-point loss, although it did feel a little bit larger than that. Shanley was able to pick up some points towards the end, but Davies did take care of business, like you said, Cade, like they've been doing all year long. No one has really been able to play them that tight except for schools like West Fargo. Before that, though, they lost a heartbreaker at home in overtime to West Fargo Cheyenne, a just intensely fought battle. Of course, Jake Cava bled all over the floor, blood, sweat, and tears, they say. Jake Cava, of course, took a shot to the face, led to some pretty good pictures, of course, from that game. But just Shanley's looking for a big win here tonight, coming off 2 really tough losses. This game is going to be huge for them, not just standings-wise, but confidence-wise. And the same goes for Fargo South. It's just kind of the flip side. They're looking to keep the win streak going and keep their confidence high. I
wouldn't really worry too much about that loss to Cheyenne in overtime, because you got to remember the last time they played them, it was ugly to watch. I mean, Shanley got demolished, and I believe they lost that game by about 40 points. 40 was because Cheyenne took the gas off. It very well could have been 60. So, I mean, that overtime game, nothing to worry about if you're Shanley. You're ecstatic for how well you played against a very good team, too.
Yeah, Kate, that's a really good point. Shanley lost that game to Cheyenne 104-70 really early in the season, and it was kind of a wake-up call because that was a game that was supposed to be pretty tight, and they just got the door blown off against Cheyenne. They didn't know what to do, but since then, they have really turned things around. They played a lot better basketball, and like you said, they did lose to Cheyenne, but they led that game for most of it, and they did take them to overtime. So Shanley, I think the best way to sum things up is I think both these teams are playing their best basketball right now.
They're hitting that point in stride, but you need to get this momentum right now, and you need that to push you through the tournament, especially with these really good Davies and West Fargo teams, and even that Cheyenne team are going to really push you, and that leaves 1 team who's kind of on the bubble, assuming those 3 get in.
Absolutely, Kate. I think that's a great way to sum things up. We may be looking at the 2 teams that are fighting for that last spot at state from the East. Like you said, they're the 2 kind of bubble teams battling it out for the 4th seed, and so we'll see what happens. This game could be a bit indicator of who the better team is and who the team that will make it to state is going to be.
High School Activities Association.
Looking, a bit more in depth at each team. Why don't we take a look at some players to watch here, Cade? I don't know about you, but for Fargo South, some names I'm looking at right now are probably Sam O'Keefe, senior forward, and I'd say Dawson Weisenberger as well, big 6'4" forward. Those 2 guys are going to be vital to this Fargo South attack.
Yeah, they're going to need to push the ball. And one thing when I look at this Fargo South roster, a little bit smaller than Shanley. Most teams, if you put your 5 starters, you're going to be a little bit shorter, but they need to be quick, and that is something I expect to see, especially a lot of athleticism from them. That's one thing that we've seen a lot from South teams in the past.
Absolutely, Cade. That's kind of their bread and butter. They like to rain the threes with the backcourt and make those big athletic plays with their front court. Shanley, like you mentioned, is pretty tall. They don't have 1 or 2 necessarily big players, but every single one of their starters usually is very tall. I mean, there are times when they've got 4 guys out there who are 6'4". I mean, it's pretty fun to watch. They've got some big guys. More specifically, though, the players I'm watching are definitely going to be Cam Seville. The leader of this team has really stepped up his scoring this year and taken on a big offensive burden. Along with him, I think the wild card is kind of Jake Cava. Hasn't necessarily had the year I think a lot of people were expecting, but at any given moment can just go off.
Yeah, and that's something that if you're South, if you can stop that, which Davies has done twice this year to him, and they've kind of got him upset during those games, you're going to cause problems for Shanley in general.
For sure. Here the starting lineups being read here. You know, usually you see an all-senior lineup on senior night for most teams. It's pretty common practice just to start the games as a way to honor your seniors. Here's the thing about Shanley, though. Even if it's not senior night, they're probably going to be starting 5 seniors most nights because that's just what this team is. They have a ton of experience, a ton of seniors, and the 5 guys you see starting tonight are the 5 guys you'd usually see starting any other night.
Yeah, and that's something that you really need. You need that leadership from the Deacons. You're maybe going to see, I'd expect to see 2 sophomores and 1 junior, but you're going to see mainly seniors tonight, right? And you want to see those old guys come out and show what they got on senior night.
Absolutely. Those 2 sophomores you mentioned, of course, being Talon Hoffer and Joe Cava. Both of them have really kind of stepped up as the season has gone on. They were a little quiet at the beginning of the year, but middle of the season, towards the end here now, they've really stepped it up, and they play some major minutes. Also, only 1 junior usually plays. That's Braden Bars. He's just kind of a good utility player for Coach Burns, just kind of likes to put him out there when other guys need a rest. Bars is a really good stopgap. You know, he doesn't do one thing, I don't think in particular, you know, crazy well, but that's what makes him such a good player, is that he doesn't have one department where he really struggles either.
Yeah, he's just a hard worker that's going to do whatever you need from him, and that's something you always love to see from a player.
Right, just really a coach's dream. All right, so without further ado, we appear to be just seconds away from getting this one started.
I believe South got called for a technical. They may have dunked in the pregame. That would be a technical foul should it have happened. I couldn't tell you for certainty, though.
My goodness, Kate, I think you're right.
But there was a technical before the game. I can't tell you exactly what happened.
I did not see that, Kate. And it was dunking. That is a great catch. I was waiting for tip-off. Jake Cava's over there shooting free throws.
So Shanley gets the ball to start the game now as well.
After Jake Cava hits those 2 free throws, and no question why they chose Jake Cava to shoot those, as he is far and away their best free throw shooter, one of the best in the state, as he's unable to get those 2 points there. And so Fargo South will get their first possession of this game, as Conte will carry up the near side, cutting in, looking for 2, won't go. Jake McKeever pulled down the rebound, and then Conte's whistled for the foul.
And so 20 seconds into this game, Fargo South already 2 fouls.
And you know, Cade, that's not what you want if you're South, but to a degree, that's the way they play. These guys have some real swagger to them. There's no other way to put it. They play hard, they play chippy, and it can hurt them with the fouls, but mentally, these guys can get in your head. They're fun to watch, and they know it. They just like to go out there and play their game.
Somebody once told me, you can be the best player on the floor. If someone gets in your head, you're done.
Absolutely, and Jake Cava might be getting in the heads of these Fargo South players as he gets the basket and the foul, looking to make it 5-0. He's got all 4 of Shanley's points so far.
13 foul, Cava shooting 1.
That is 3 fouls, and we are not even a minute into this game. Cava unable to hit that free throw, but the rebound poked forward by Malish, and now Shanley's going to go to work yet again. Seville has it on the far side, moving in, works his way into the paint, but the shot won't go. Weisenberger pulls down the rebound. Mabor bringing it forward now for the Bruins, looking for their first points of the evening. Fortunate right now that it's just 4-0. There have been some opportunities for Shanley. Conte has it at the top of the key, an awkward 3, and he drains it.
Just kind of that swagger to this South team, just showing, hey, we're better than you, and we're just going to go do it.
Absolutely, a start that most teams would deem a nightmare, and they've already got this game to within 1 point. As that shot from Malish won't go, the rebound pulled down by Bennington, and now Mabor will bring it forward once again. Mabor Gives over to Conte on the near side. Conte launches another three. This one's too long, and McKeever's got the rebound. Cava now will take it forward for Shanley. Jake Cava looking, he has Seville breaking. Cam Seville now on the near side. Pulls up for three, and he sinks it. He doesn't shoot him often, but when he does, he's usually pretty accurate. Maybor now looking to respond for the Bruins. Motions, gives over to Conte. Conte now going to cut it inside. He'll give out to O'Keefe. O'Keefe looking, gets the screen from Weisenberger, goes over to Bennington. Bennington along two, and he's got it.
Good by Bennington.
Seville looking for someone on the inbound. Took some time, but was able to find McKeever, who will give it right back to Seville. Cam Seville will take it across half court now. Moving slow, just looking for something to open up. Thought about the three. Instead, he goes to McKeever, who gave a great dish over to Cava. Cava working against two different guys, but he's whistled for the travel.
Traveling violation. Checking in for the Bruins, number 5, Kane Carlson.
And now Kane Carlson will come into the game for Fargo South. Maybor again the man to bring it forward. He goes over to Carlson. Carlson looks inside, then gives over to Weisenberger. Weisenberger out to Bennington, the big man for three. No! Rebound fought for. Malish gets to it. Timian all the way up to Seville. Seville driving in. What a move for two! Cam Seville with a heck of an adjustment as he was flying through the air, and now it's a 4-point lead for the Deacons. Maybor looks to answer. He gets all the way in there in about 2 steps. Just an incredible effort there from Maybor to get the 2 points.
Seen a lot of these athletic plays that we love, especially from both teams. We've seen some of that from Seville. He's had 2 really athletic plays. One didn't go down for him. And now South responds with the athleticism that they're really known for around the EDC.
Absolutely. Both teams are just cooking to start this one off as that ball's poked away from Jake Cava, and now Weisenberger will carry forward. He checks back to O'Keefe, who goes over to Maybor, fakes the three, cuts inside, goes back out, now over to Carlson. Carlson to O'Keefe. O'Keefe trying to get the screen, going to work along the baseline, in a bit of trouble, kicks it out to Bennington. Bennington over to Maybor. Maybor, nowhere to go, pulls up, long two, and he sinks it. We got a tie game, 9-9. Seville looking for the inbound. He gets it to McKeever, who will give it right back to Cam Seville. Seville bringing it forward now, matched up with Maybor, cuts back at the free throw line, over to McKeever, open three, he'll hit that all day.
One thing you're noticing from South to start the game, they're starting out in a press and then they're dropping back as soon as the ball gets inbounded. They're really just saying to Shanley, beat us.
O'Keefe tosses it in. Weisenberger answers with 2. Timian now has it for Shanley. Surveys, bringing it forward now. Carlson right there on top of him. Timian trying to make a move, has to give over to Seville. Seville looked inside, directing traffic. Now he'll take it himself. Gets past one man, but he's blocked by Maybor. Maybor now going to take it forward for the Bruins. Little bounce pass, but it's through the legs of Bennington and out of bounds.
Seville kind of looked like he was looking around for a foul there. Didn't get it. Has to hustle back on defense. South kind of throws it out of bounds, and it's going to be Shanley ball after the turnover.
Yeah, Kate, it was close. I think that was a good no call, though. I like the idea of letting them play at least in the early going. I think as it goes on, you might see it tighten up, but I don't think there was enough for a call there. Erie with the cut. A little bounce pass over to Seville. Fakes the three, moving in, tosses it out to Timian, now to Cava in the corner. Cava way across the court, and it's poked out of bounds by Weisenberger. Weisenberger, a big man out there. He's a listed 6'4". I tell you what, though, he might be the only guy I've seen whose listed height might actually be shorter than he actually is. I think he's more in that 6'4.5", pushing 6'5" range.
He's a big guy, really heavy guy, plays tight end and defensive end in football. UND is actually looking at him. He's a really good athlete.
Yeah, still very limber, though, for a guy his size. 14-11 now as Conte tosses it over to Bennington, now to Carlson in the corner, who gets it over to Weisenberger. Weisenberger looking for 2, doesn't get it, but draws the foul.
Going to be fouled there by McKeever, I believe. That'll be the Deacons' first.
Yes, that is their first, and it will be on Jake Cava. Cava does occasionally run into foul trouble. He did a good job at the beginning of the year keeping that under control. As the season's gone on, though, we've seen him get into a little bit of foul trouble, a bit more. So it'll be really important for Shanley for him to keep that in check here.
Weisenberger is going to make both.
14-12 our score now. As Cava carries forward. Gives over to Erie. Erie now moving in against Carlson. Kicks it out to Seville. Seville out top to Timian. He looks nowhere to go, so he goes back to Cam Seville. Seville over to Cava. Moving in now. Pull up for two, and he gets it. Jake Cava looking good early. That's important for Shanley. Got to get him hot in the early going. And it'll likely carry on throughout the rest of the game as he gets the takeaway. Bennington couldn't get that one under control. Trying to thread the needle up to Seville, just kept it in bounds. Erie now for two. He draws the foul.
One thing I'm noticing about the South team, they don't care about height and weight matchups. They're having some of their bigger guys guard our smaller guys. For example, Bennington has been guarding Timian up to this point, and we have seen Conte guard McKeever for stints.
Yeah, Cade, that is a pretty interesting matchup. Bennington, a big guy, 6'4", and just overall pretty heavy, pretty strong guy matched up with Timian, a little bit of a shorter player, as Cava cannot convert on that one, but the foul is called again.
Fouls on number 22. Dustin Weisenberger,
South fans did not seem to enjoy that call, but nonetheless, Cava's going to go to the line for two.
Yeah,
His second trip to the line, I believe, with the technical.
Right, Weisenberger got picked up there for his second, so he'll check out. And in will come Kenny Patia, the 6'4" senior center. Joe Cava will also check in for Shanley. So Cava able to go 1 for 2 on that trip. It's now a 5-point lead for Shanley. Mabor directing traffic. He'll bring it forward now. Lofts one over to Conte. Conte matched up with Cava. Moving in, trying to get it over to Mabor. Just got a hold of it. Mabor in the corner finds Carlson. Carlson motioning his men around. Conte's got it now. Kicks it back to Mabor. Mabor moving in. Lost a handle. It's loose on the ground. And a jump ball called. Possession will stay with Fargo South, but that arrow now, next time we get a jump ball, it will be going Shanley's way.
Shanley has turned and they've started playing a zone now.
Quick inbound to Carlson. He had it poked away by McKeever, and so here come the Deacons. Hoffer bringing it down court. Looking, goes across to Cava. Cava for three, and he sinks it. And Cava with a little bit of jarring there against Carlson after he hits the three. Big time response there from Shanley. They're up 20-12 now with 11 minutes left to go here in this first half. Kate, your early impressions?
South is really just seeming to they just haven't gotten into a rhythm after Cava got to shoot that technical right away. I don't think it rattled them or anything. I think if anything, maybe it just kind of, they didn't think they deserved it and are playing a little bit mad right now.
Yeah, and that can be good to a degree, but also you got to keep those emotions in check. You want to play with a little bit of anger, but you also want to keep a cool head, and that's going to be important here. The thing I'm noticing is they're down 20-12 right now. Shanley's playing pretty well, but South does not look very rattled. They look pretty calm, cool, and collected out there. So we'll see. That's the mentality you want to have. We'll see, though, if their play matches up with that attitude.
They almost seem to be they almost seem to be telling Shanley, yeah, you're winning, just wait.
Well, we'll see if that's the case. There's another turnover for the Bruins after a timeout. Hoffer has it now for the Deacons. He gets it over to Joe Cava. Joe Cava for two. It won't fall. It's poked away. And it will stay with the Deacons. Carlson thought he got it out off the legs of Joe Cava, but that's not what the call will be.
I believe that was the correct call. I think that went off of Carlson after it hit Cava.
Right. I do think it hit Cava, but like you said, I think it ended up going off of Carlson at the last second. As McKeever hits that two, it's now a 10-point lead.
McKeever starting out really well tonight. He's got 5 points already with that shot.
Yeah, it's been a great start here for Jake McKeever, both offensively and defensively. As Conte fires the three, it doesn't go. Rebound pulled down, though, and put back by Kenny Patia.
You know, the only guy I can think of ever that I've ever seen shoot anything like him, Lonzo Ball. Closest thing I can think of.
I suppose so. A bit of an odd release, but I tell you what, Conte, pretty solid three-point shooter. It works for him as Carlson lets a three go. He's South's top three-point shooter, but he was not able to connect that time. Cava driving in, sends O'Keefe to the ground. Cava gets the 2. It's a 12-point lead again. Mabor with it. Erie on him. He goes over to Carlson. Carlson over to Conte. Conte inside to Patia. Patia looking for 2. He gets blocked by McKeever.
That's McKeever's second block already.
Yeah, he has really been cooking defensively. That ball did go out of bounds off of Shanley, but still, they'll take that block all day as Bennington checks back in. Quick inbound here from O'Keefe, and a foul called on Joe Cava.
Joe Cava, a really aggressive guy, a football player, hard worker. I mean, he's going to get called with those from time to time, but he's gotten a lot better at that as this season has gone on. I remember, I think, his first real varsity minutes. He fell out in about 4 minutes. Gotten a lot better, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the trade-off with him, like you said, an aggressive player, so it does lead to the fouls, but it's also what makes his play so important to this Shanley team. Mabor with not a lot of space. He's just going to cut it inside. He makes some space, gets to end the foul.
I think they're going to get Cava again.
Oh no, they'll get McKeever. Yeah, his first. So that's Shanley's third. South already at 5. And it's now a 10-point game. Mabor will look to make it a 9-point one. That one teeters on the edge for a while. Patia tried to get the rebound, but it won't go. So 26-16 is the score as Seville tries to get out of trouble, finds Erie open for 3, no good off the rim. Hoffer there to get the rebound. Physical play down low, it's poked out, and they'll say it was last touch by the Bruins. Seville has it now. Out top, taking his time, directing traffic, tried to get the screen there from Cava, but it wouldn't go. Moving in against Patia, Seville able to get 2. Now Mabor has it, he'll move forward with a whole bunch of Deacons on him. Finds Conte, Conte cuts back, had it poked away for a second, but got back to it. Mabor loses it now, loose on the ground. Should be a jump ball. No, it's out. Conte's got it. Gets it over to Patia. Patia for 2. It won't go. Put back is good, though, for O'Keefe.
A little bit of a crazy turn of events there. Maybe should have been a jump ball, but
You know, Kate, I think the one jump ball we had I thought was a little early, but I will agree that maybe should have been one. So referees balance out the calls there, I think, a little bit. And now we got a whistle and a foul going against the Deacons. Joe Cava picks up his second.
I think they're going to get Joe out of there. I mean, you don't want him to pick up his third.
Right, this early in the game. And they've got, more than enough big guys up front where they can just switch him out for Cody Malish.
Yep.
Mabor up to Conte now. Conte driving in, and he is fouled on that drive. So just like that, we're even 5-5 in fouls. The one good thing for Shanley, though, is these fouls have been pretty spread out. I think Joe Cava's the only one who has more than 1 foul, which is a pretty solid situation to be in when you're at 5 fouls.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Mabor looking for 2. Another call going against Shanley here.
I think they're going to say he wasn't shooting, and they're going to have him take it out underneath.
I tell you what, for the amount of fouls there have been called against Shanley here, not a lot have been shooting fouls, which I suppose is the one.
Conte for 3.
Saving grace as Conte drains the 3-pointer and makes this a 7-point lead now. And look at the defense from Conte. He's all over Hoffer, making him all sorts of uncomfortable deep in his own zone. Cava going to pull up for 3, and that won't go off the rim. Erie tries to poke it forward, and it will be Bruin basketball as that ball goes out of bounds off the Deacons. Cava may be looking for a call there. So Mabor has it now, working against Erie. He goes over to Conte. Conte, double team on him. Works it along the out-of-bounds line, but it ends up going out, although last touched by the Deacons.
Yeah, must got tipped down there where we can't see, not quite sure.
Yeah, I didn't get the number, but I did see a white jersey go flying after it, so I definitely think it was the right call. Conte tried to hook up with Bennington, but instead he found Talon Hoffer, got it up to Erie. Erie over to Seville. Didn't get the shot off, but he was fouled.
So Shanley will be in the bonus for the remainder of the half after this, of course.
King Carlson back in for the Bruins.
And so Kane Carlson will come back in for Fargo South. And now Isaiah Johnson, the senior, will also come in for his first minutes of the evening. Jake Cava inbounding. A little bounce pass over to Malish. Malish over to Hoffer. Hoffer gets two.
Really nice pass there by Malish. Good eyes, good court vision. Great play there.
Well drawn up play, and just like that, Malish makes the play on defense as well. Comes flying in to poke that ball away. O'Keefe inbounding. He'll just give it off to Conte, who's right in a double team. Ball worked along over to Carlson, now out top to Johnson. Johnson looked at Conte, faked it, and now gives over to Patia. Conte has it now, he pulls back. Two Deacons right on top of him. Goes all the way across over to Johnson. South not finding many holes here. Johnson in trouble, goes over to Carlson. Carlson with three guys on him, and they'll get Jake Cava for the foul.
Jake Cava did not like that foul. He appeared to be playing straight up. A tough call there, but that will be his second personal.
Well, I think what Jake Cava didn't like there was a little contact with Carlson after the play. He thought Carlson initiated it a bit, and I think he was maybe looking for a call there, but he did not get one. And so Carlson shooting the bonus.
One thing that's really impressed me about Conte, he never looks nervous at all in those double teams.
Yeah, and for a guy of his height, not the biggest guy, only 5'10", he's often matched up with 6'4", 6'5" defenders and not phased at all.
I mean, he just looks like he could be texting back there while he's working through these double teams. They're not phasing him.
Absolutely, as now we've got a whistle and a foul going against South that will put Shanley in the bonus here.
Not sure if they're going to call this a shooting foul. I believe they are, so Cam will be shooting two.
Yeah, that is the case. So Seville at the line, and on the season he is shooting right around 58% at the free throw line. As he gets the first one.
Checking back in for the Bruins, number 10, Kieran Mabor.
And now Mabor will come in as Conte takes a seat. Second attempt for Seville does not go, and Petit is there to get the rebound, so down come the Bruins. Mabor all the way across over to Johnson. Johnson with the double team on him, tried to get it over to Mabor, but it was off the money. And now
they're going to say South basketball, I believe.
And you know what they're indicating? I think that it went off the knee of a Shanley player there. I did not see it. I can see where that would happen. The trajectory of the ball was a little funny. You know, if it wasn't tipped, it would be a little weird. I'm not sure, though. So Conte's in the game again now, able to get it on the floor over to Carlson, who kicks it out over to Conte. He shoots for three, doesn't get it. Loose ball. Carlson picks it up, trying to go inside. It's tipped, and Erie comes up with it. Seville now bringing it forward. Had McKeever open, and he'll go over to him. Jake McKeever trying to work inside. Step back two, won't go. Conte's got the rebound. Conte pulls back, goes over to Mabor. Mabor in the corner to Carlson. Carlson, a three. Go ahead, Cade.
I think they're going to call Carlson there on the push, or maybe not. I thought he was pushing on him pretty hard, but he'll get to go to the line after they're going to call that on Talonhopper, his second.
Yeah, it was pretty back and forth there. I can see the case against Carlson, but I can also see the call on Hoffer. And yeah, like you said, that's Hoffer's second. The one thing here, Carlson is a three-point specialist. He's hits, about 27 threes at a 42% rate this season. But Shanley is not giving him any space for those three-point tries. They have fouled him a decent amount, which has hurt them. But, you know, that's better than giving him those open looks for three because he's pretty efficient when he gets them. He's also pretty efficient, though, at the free throw line as he hits both of those. And now Shanley will look to respond. Timian gives over to McKeever, who goes back to Timian, looking down court. Goes over to Erie, who goes into Seville. Seville Steps back, waiting for his offense to catch up. Couldn't get that one to go. Loose ball fought for. Seville's got it. Bennington in his face, though. Can't get that one to fall. And the rebound's grabbed by O'Keefe. O'Keefe looking now. Unable to capitalize on the break. They are going to try and set up, though, as Conte moves inside. Threading the needle over to O'Keefe, and he gets the 2. 6-point game now as Timian gives over to Seville. Seville holds up, looking. Conte on him. Gives off over to Timian. Timian in the corner to Erie. Erie driving along the baseline, throws one up, won't go. O'Keefe almost lost it out of bounds, but he's able to get control. In comes Mabor. Able to get it over to Johnson. Johnson loses it. Seville poking at it. Johnson in a tight spot. Seville all over him. And they'll call a travel on Johnson.
I was a little nervous there for a second. I thought they were going to get Cam Seville for a foul.
Yeah, that
That
was pretty close, Cade. Seville maybe getting away with one there, but there were a couple earlier I think we saw maybe go South's way. So, again, calls tend to even out. That's just how a game goes. But yeah, Shanley may be fortunate.
Now they're starting to talk this over.
And so it looks like Erie will have to come in. He was filling up a cup of water over there on the bench.
I think they're saying Bars didn't check in time, so Erie has to stay in. I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so, as you see Bars now waiting there. Timian will go over to Seville. Seville gonna pass this one off over to McKeever. McKeever for 3, just short, and the rebound grab by Johnson. Mabor has it, but the double team right there. Conte now one-on-one with Malish. Moving in, pull up for 2. Too strong. O'Keefe, though, tipped it all the way out to Mabor. Great play there from O'Keefe. As Mabor gets it over to Conte, he shoots for 3. He gets it! And the foul! Oh, man!
That is one that I am sorry, Cody Malish, but you are just going to be, you're going to think about that one tonight.
It looked like it wasn't going to go in either. At the last second, though, it hops back in, and Malish knew on the follow-through there, he just made contact with Conte. He knew it as well. So now Conte on the free throw. He makes this a 2-point game, a huge 4-point play there. And that's what Conte does for you. I mean, he just makes things happen.
I mean, I don't know what to say about that play.
I know, Cade. It's just, he just makes it happen. I don't know what to say. Malish trying to answer with a 3 of his own, but that one goes off the backboard, no good. And in comes Mabor. Mabor driving forward, looking for 2, won't get it, wants the call, but he's not going to get it. Seville flying in now. Conte hacked at him from behind, and Seville gets 2 and the foul. That is the double-edged sword. Conte, he makes things happen with the big plays on offense, but there is a hack on Cam Seville. And that's about as easy of a call as those refs are going to get.
I'd say that 4-point play is still the second best play we've seen out of the 2 games, behind Wagner's about half-court 3.
Yeah, Cade, it's pretty darn close. That was impressive as well. For those of you who didn't see the girls' game earlier, you missed quite the show. Fargo South with some excellent 3-point shooting in that girls' game. Addie Wagner. Sam O'Keefe driving in for 2 now. Oh, he can't get it to fall. Hand practically on the rim that time, and it just didn't go for him. So now 3:44 on the clock. Deacons lead by 5, looking to build upon that. Timian over to McKeever. McKeever out to Bars. Bars matched up with Bennington, into McKeever in the corner. Too strong. Johnson there to get the rebound. Mabor will carry forward now for Fargo South. Little stutter step, looking for someone, and he'll pass it over to Bennington in the corner. Bennington right back to Mabor, trying to get McKeever to bite. Driving inside now, stops for 2. He gets it, and the foul.
McKeever, I believe that is his 3rd, I believe.
Fouls on number 20, Jake McKeever.
I mean, that is only his 2nd, but he's going to be upset about that call. And we're going to see the senior Miles Wasick get checked in here.
Miles Wasick, a crowd favorite, a locker room favorite. We'll see what he's got. Hasn't had a ton of playing time this season. It is senior night, though. And you want to put guys out there who have something to play for, and definitely your seniors are the guys you want out there on a night like this. Wasik has it now. He'll hand it right back to Timian. Timian in a pickle, trying to get it back over to Wasik. Wasik down court, broken up partially by Patia. A whistle and a 10-second violation against Shanley. Some masterful defense there by Fargo South.
Yeah, that's tough. And Wasik kind of got put in a tough spot there. I mean, he hasn't played in how long, especially serious minutes like that. And suddenly he's put in one of the toughest presses I've seen all year.
Yeah, seriously, that's a tough time to come in cold. But nonetheless, it is a 10-second violation on Shanley, and South is going to try and capitalize. Now we got a whistle, though, and a call going against the Bruins.
They're going to call a push. I was thinking they were going to get a 3-second violation, but nonetheless, it is going to be a push on South, and both teams will be in the double bonus for the remainder of the half.
So back-to-back turnovers here.
And Miles is sitting all alone in the corner.
Deacons not seeing him there. Seville tied up at half court. Gets it over to Bars, inside to Wasik. Wasik tried to get it over to Malish, but that one was intercepted by Carlson. Kane Carlson gives over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe, nowhere to go with it. Just going to hand it off right back to Carlson. Now over to Mabor. Mabor for three. No good, it's too strong. Malish got the rebound. Timian bringing it forward now, finds Wasik. Wasik gonna pull up for a long two, and
it's good
from
the senior on senior night.
Wasik bringing the crowd
and the entire Shanley bench to its feet.
Mabor at the top of the key looking to respond. Over to Carlson, inside to Patia. Patia tried to get the two there from a little far out, and Wasik comes up with it. Seville with it now for Shanley. Driving in, kicks it back out to Wasik, now over to Timian and into Malish. In the corner with it now is Bars, matched up with Johnson, goes over to Seville. Seville, not a lot of options, looked to go inside, nothing there, tried to get the screen again, nothing. Bars, still working against Johnson, in a tight spot, gets it over to Timian. Timian looking for two, no good off the rim, Patia's got the rebound. Johnson bringing it down court, driving inside for two, and he gets it. Minute 20 left to go in the first half, just a 2-point game. Timian with the double team on him. Seville trying to make some space, he sent Johnson down to the ground. Bars, near side, over to Timian. Timian all the way across to Wasik, who gives over to Seville. Seville now will calm things down. Trying to get something set. He moves in, kicks it out to Wasik. Didn't want the three, goes over to Bars. Bars loses it, and O'Keefe comes up with it. Patia poked it away. O'Keefe got it, and now Mabor is bringing it forward. 47 seconds left to go in this first half. Mabor made a nice move to get some separation there on Bars. O'Keefe has it now, driving in for two. He gets it. We have a tie game now, 36-36. And 33 seconds left on the clock, and it's going to be South basketball.
And you're starting to see this chipping. Chippiness maybe isn't the right word. This cockiness in South again. I saw a South player, as soon as that ball went out of bounds, come up and clap in Cam's face. By the way, our scoreboard is incorrect, 36-36. But South has this swagger back to them.
Right, Kate, and I don't know. I know what you're saying there. Cocky might be a bit of a strong word, but I get what you're saying. It's that swagger, like you said. And the Deacons are giving it as well as they're taking it, too. It's just right now South is on a bit of a hot streak, and they can have the final shot of this first half if they want, which they seem content to do. They're trying to burn some clock. Bars doing the smart thing, trying to pressure Conte. Conte will give over to Mabor. South continuing to try and run some clock down. Bennington has it now. Looking inside, gets it over to Conte. 5 seconds left. Conte pulls up for two. No good. It's loose. Bennington's got it. Over to O'Keefe for three. No good at the end of the half.
That's the end of the first half.
But you can't ask for a better finish if you're Fargo South. Able to come clawing back. They were down 12 points at one point in the beginning. They started the game off with Shanley shooting free throws, and they have still found a way to tie this thing up 36-36.
They've got that swagger like you haven't seen in this game, and I mean, you bet they're letting Shanley know about it, and they're going to be in Shanley's face as long as this is a game. And if Shanley is down by 20, they're going to be in it to remind them that we got you in EDC more than likely.
Right, and Kate, one thing I did notice, Jake Cava with a prolonged absence in the latter half of that first half. not only had he been doing pretty well offensively, but he's also kind of got that way about him. He can really give it back to Fargo South. He's got that attitude, and I think we might see him a lot more in the second half, especially in crunch time.
The other guy you pointed out that was gone for a while, Jake Keeper, he's got about 2 or 3 blocks. That is something that can kind of calm down South a little bit, and you want to see that because big plays suck emotion, and you need to do that.
Absolutely. So, folks, if that first half was any indication, we have got one heck of a finish coming up. We're going to step away for just a moment, but don't go anywhere. Great game coming to a close in just a few minutes.
Can you guys just
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School boys basketball action. I'm Jed Thomas, of course, joined by Kate Busick as we are getting ready for what should be a fantastic finish between the Shanley Deacons and the Fargo South Bruins. But, folks, before we get back to the action, we would like to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.club.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon athletics to a higher level. And so, folks, we're just seconds away from starting off this second half. Cade, it was a wild beginning to this game. Fargo South got down early. They had that technical foul before the game started. Shanley jumped out to a big lead, but South came clawing back, able to tie this thing up 36-36. Your thoughts here before the second half gets started?
South's got their swagger back. You never want that to happen. One thing I think we're going to see here, it looks like Jacob Cava is going to get face guarded. So basically what that player, his opponent, is going to do everything he can. He's not going to pay any attention to the rest of the game. He's saying you're not getting the ball. And we've seen Davies do that to him very effectively twice, actually.
Yeah, Kate, I was actually just about to mention that. That's a really good point. Davies, that's exactly what they do when they play Jake Cava. They do the face guarding, and it has worked quite well against him. We'll see if South can replicate that success here.
And it has also kind of gotten into his head a little bit and made him upset. They're going to just say, Cava, you're not beating us.
Well, we'll see. We know Jake Cava, and he can answer. He'll try with this three, and there it is. Cava hits the three to start things off, and that's exactly what Shanley needed, getting a little momentum headed back their way. Bringing it forward now for Fargo South, it's Mabor. In the corner now with it, Weisenberg out top to Conte. Conte has it at the top of the key, lost it for a second, gets it back. Mabor for three, off the rim, no good. Weisenberger there to grab the rebound. Weisenberger with it, working in the paint, looking for two, in and out, and Malish has got the rebound. Cam Seville bringing it up the near side now. Looking inside, nothing there, kicks it out to Timian. Timian didn't take the three, gives to McKeever. McKeever just short rebound, pulled down by Weisenberger. Moving forward with it is Mabor. Seville took it away, though, ended up on the floor. Timian got to it. Seville now driving forward. Look to give it to Malish. He'll keep it himself, though. Goes up and over for two, and the foul.
A really nice play there by Seville. I mean, South, I don't think, really expected him to go under. I think he was just expected to kick it out to Malish there, but he's going to get the and one here.
Seville shooting 58% on the season from the free throw line, excuse me. We'll see what he can do here, looking to complete the three-point play, and he does. 42-36 now the score in favor of Shanley. A good start to this second half. Mabor matched up with Cava, goes over to Conte. Conte drives inside, tried to get it over to Bennington down low. Shot wouldn't go, rebound pulled down by the Deacons. Timian now over to Seville. Seville moving in, curls back. Let the offense catch up. Malish has it now. Goes over to Cava Seville at the top of the key. McKeever in the corner, out to Cava for three. No good. Seville's got the rebound, lost it. McKeever for two. That's short. Weisenberger has the rebound.
One thing I should say, Cava isn't being face guarded anymore. They really haven't since that first possession.
All right, well, we'll see what their strategy is with Jake Cava, see what they can do to slow him down as Conte pulls up for the long two and drains it. Timian now with Mabor in his face, had it poked away. Mabor has it underneath the hoop looking for two, and he's fouled by Timian.
Timian, maybe not the best foul. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in, though. You're not quite sure where you are under the basket. He wasn't able to get the shot up there, but he's still gonna be able to go to the line for two.
Right, and definitely caught off guard that time, with Mabor poking it away. So kind of had to act quick there. Joe Cava is into the game as well for Shanley. He left after picking up his second foul pretty early on, I believe.
Carlson in for the Bruins.
So 42-40, 2-point edge here for Shanley. Mabor able to get 2 points out of that steal, though. And Shanley will try to answer. Timian has it now. He goes over to Cava. Cava right back to Timian, and then that ball is intercepted. Weisenberger driving forward, put Timian on the ground and gets the 2. Weisenberger ties it up 42-42. Erie on the near side, lost control, headed out of bounds. Cava able to keep it in, and Seville scoops it up off the ground. Timian at the top of the key, kicks it out over to Cava. Cava, long range 2, in and out off the rim. Bennington able to get it up to Conte. Timian there to meet him. Conte moving in, kicked out of bounds. Last touch by the Deacons. Get a look at the rebound there. Weisenberger. And, you know, it's hard to blame Timian when you got 6'4" Dawson Weisenberger barreling down on you. I mean, not much you can do in that situation.
And Weisenberger probably has at least 60 pounds on Timian, too.
He's just a big guy. You don't want to be meeting that underneath the hoop. Hoffer has it on the far side, driving in Talon. Hoffer, silky smooth on that move. Mabor pushing the pace, gets it up to Carlson with the 3. He drains it. A 1-point edge now for Fargo South. Cava over to Hoffer now on the far side. Talon Hoffer bringing it forward. A little bounce pass over to Jake Cava, and then kicks it out to Seville. Seville trying to answer with a 3 of his own, and he sinks that one. 2-point edge here for the Deacons, 14:30 left to play. Mabor working against Erie, drives in, stops, kicks it out to Carlson. Carlson with a move, sends a man to the ground, and they call the charge on the Bruins.
Jake Cava going to stand in there strong, take the charge. One of the things in basketball you don't see a lot anymore, but it's really something that especially the older coaches love to see, those young kids taking a charge like that and just sacrificing the body for the ball.
A little back and forth passing there between Erie and Cava. Erie looked to give it over to Seville. Tried to get that one to Cava, but it's going to go back across half court. Hopper will pick it up for the over and back. That's a tough break for the Deacons. They had some momentum there, and that pass just too strong, skirts along the ground and goes across half court. Weisenberger with it now, fighting, trying to find some space, gets it over to Mabor. Mabor with the bounce pass over to O'Keefe. Gets it to Bennington for 2 off the rim, no good. Weisenberger got the rebound though. Weisenberger out to Bennington, to O'Keefe for 3, no, he moves inside looking for 2, won't get it. Bennington with the 2.
We're tied at 47. What a back and forth game. This is the kind of game you want to watch.
Yeah, no kidding, as that pass is a little wild. It goes out of bounds. Seville with a nice effort trying to catch up to it, but just couldn't keep it in.
Even the student section for South is kind of getting into this, showing off their little bit of swagger as they try and make fun of the Shanley kids dressing in uniforms.
Some red polos and khakis, a nice little jab at Shanley there. They traveled really well. Obviously an in-town game, so pretty easy to do, but Fargo South really traveling well. So, all knotted up, 47-47, 13:32 remaining in the game. Cam Seville has it as he kicks out over to Tom Erie. Tom Erie inside looking for 2, put it up, could not get it to go. Weisenberger got the rebound. Nice little move there from Mabor to get some space. Goes over to Bennington. Bennington inside to O'Keefe. O'Keefe with all sorts of pressure, still able to get 2 points out of it. Cava with the quick bullet pass over to Seville. Seville with O'Keefe in his face will have to take it himself. Seville driving forward. O'Keefe all the way there with him, but that's not enough to stop Cam Seville. Mabor now will carry forward for the Bruins. Gets it over to Conte. Conte in the corner now to Weisenberger. Weisenberger to O'Keefe, back to Conte up top, a contested 3 off the rim, no good. Mabor fighting for the rebound. Weisenberger comes up with it for 2, he doesn't get it, but he does draw the foul.
Not quite sure who that was on. I want to say Cava.
Fouls on number 15, Tom Erie.
They'll actually get Tom Erie. Erie went to the ground, you see on the replay there, and then he recovered just in time to try to get a hand up to contest that, but he was a little late and ended up getting all Weisenberger and no ball. Weisenberger's first free throw attempt, no good. on the season. He's shooting 44% at the line.
And Carlson for the Bruins.
Patia and Carlson now come in for Fargo South as Weisenberger is able to go 1 for 2 on that trip. Inbound to Cava, and the pressure is on here from Fargo South. O'Keefe and Mabor putting the pressure on Jake Cava, able to get out of it. Hoffer now up to Erie. Erie moving in, doubles back, gets it over to Seville. Seville thought about the 3, instead will go over to Hoffer. Hoffer out top, goes over to Jake Cava. Cava with a lot of space for 3 off the front of the rim, though, no good. He had some space, but he was pretty far away on that attempt. O'Keefe now gets that long pass over to Mabor. Mabor driving inside, and he's fouled.
I'm going to say that one was on the ground, I believe, so that it won't be shooting. I think they got Tom Erie for his second.
Yeah, that's back-to-back fouls there for Erie, and the third on Shanley here in this half. Inbound finds its way to O'Keefe, who kicks it inside to Patia, who goes right back out to O'Keefe. Weisenberger has it now, looking inside, cuts back out, not a lot of options, goes over to Mabor. Mabor into Patia, and Patia with excellent patience. He let Cava go up for the block and then put it in. South applying the pressure on defense. Shanley a little too quick for him, but that pass was a little too quick for Joe Cava. Cava brothers trying to hook up, but it goes through the legs of Joe Cava from Jake Cava.
Now it looks like Shanley's going to put on their own little press here. They're trying to force some action.
And it might work as that ball goes out of bounds.
I mean,
nice response there for Shanley. I mean, absolutely. You know, South had the momentum, but that press gave South some issues right there.
Yeah, that gave them some issues.
Jake Cava now driving in, looking for 2. He's fouled, and he gets the shot. So we'll have an opportunity to tie this one up.
Number 33,
I mean, really nice play by Cava. I mean, he beats his guy and gets right to the rack as soon as you beat your guy.
And, you know, Patia did a nice job getting most of the ball there, but I think it's still a good call because Mabor reached in before Cava took the shot. So either way, I think you've got a good call both ways. Cava able to hit the free throw and tie things up, 52-52. Mabor on the far side into O'Keefe. O'Keefe finds Patia. Patia looking for 2. Little strong on that one, though, and Jake Cava comes up with the rebound. Joe Cava open, streaking down the court. Patia fouls him, and the shot goes.
That'll get Joe Cava fired up. That is someone, he's someone that you love the emotion from him. It's always fun emotion from him. And I mean, when he's fired up, people around him are going to get fired up.
For the Bruins.
Cava to complete the three-point play. He cannot as Erie pokes that one out of bounds. So Weisenberger now will inbound. He goes straight to O'Keefe. O'Keefe looking, able to get that one off over to Mabor. Mabor on the near side with a double team on him. O'Keefe now has it. O'Keefe in the corner, inside to Weisenberger. Weisenberger out to Carlson for 3. He sinks it! He was left open, and Shanley won't make that mistake twice as the Bruins are able to force that one out of bounds. Carlson got in there to take it away from Erie. 11:06 on the clock now, 1-point lead for Fargo South. Erie, near side, bounce pass over to Joe Cava. Cava over to Cava. Jake Cava now with it in the paint. He's blocked by Bennington. Bennington now will give off over to Mabor, and here comes Mabor charging forward, pulls up, throws one over to Weisenberger, just kept it in, but Bennington unable to save that one as it goes out.
I mean, what a game we have here. But the two people that I really feel bad for watching this game are the two coaches. They can't enjoy the game because they have to be so stressed about what's going on.
No kidding, Cade. And now we got a whistle and a foul going against Carlson.
Also number 5, Cade Carlson, second personal.
And that's not really one you want to take if you're Carlson there. You know, you're trying to play some aggressive defense, but it's just not necessary, I don't think. Timian has it now for Shanley. Going to bring it across half court. Looking, gets the screen from Cava, driving in against Weisenberger, and floats one up for 2.
That is one that I don't want to say luck, and it's not pure skill either. It's just right. I mean, just
right
all
in
the
sweet
factors.
Spot, Cade.
Yeah, all the factors coming right together, because that's a shot you will never practice and probably will never take again.
No kidding. Nothing but net on that one as he just scooped it up. So foul against the Deacons here as a quick inbound goes to Conte. Conte trying to get that pass through loads of traffic. Intercepted by the Deacons. Sent down court by Jake Cava, but intercepted by Conte. Conte keeping it on the ground, gets it over to Mabor. Mabor kicks it out top to Conte. Think he wanted the three, instead will go over to Carlson. That three-point attempt is in, off the rim, and then goes down.
But what a play on that steal by Conte. What a play.
Gets the steal and the assist, Cade.
I mean, what more can you do there if you're Shanley?
Cava with the spin move, driving forward, got two, and the foul, I believe.
That'll tie it up. Cava has a chance to give the Deacons the lead. This is just a fun game to watch.
Absolutely, Cade.
Jake Cava shooting one. Kenny Patia checking in.
Patia comes into the game once again. Cava will shoot one. You saw the spin move there from Jake Cava. It's really been his go-to in the paint this season.
One thing to keep in mind, both Patia and I believe Carlson have 3 fouls for South.
So some numbers to watch there as Mabor takes this ball off the inbound. Trying to get some space, bounce pass over to Bennington, now to Conte. Conte for three, he sinks it! Conte making it look easy as now the Deacons look to respond. Timian with it, going across to Hoffer. Hoffer to answer. Off the rim, no good. Erie gets the rebound. Erie looking for two, it won't go. Loose ball, Conte's got it. Conte with a heck of a move, man!
Conte is not going to like that call.
Holy moly!
He is not going to like that call a bit. But that will be Cava's personal, but that was a play by Conte to split the defenders.
Juked two defenders out of their shoes and split the gap in between them. Mason Timian and Jake Cava were both right there, and Conte practically teleported through them. Unbelievable. Unable to get the points though, Cade. Like you said, Cava was whistled for the foul. Loose ball poked away from Cava. Bennington's got it.
Cava just kind of grabbed onto Bennington at the end of that.
Not much he could do there. Just try not to get stepped on. As that one is good for two from Mabori. Practically leaped over a defender. Now we got a whistle.
They're going to call an injury timeout. Oh, that doesn't look good. But yeah, they're going to call an injury timeout.
Checking in for the Bruins, number 22, Dawson Weiss.
And yeah, Cade, you know, that's unfortunate. Cava gets up limping there. And I really thought he was just down because he was trying to not get stepped on. You know, there was all that traffic around him. But he actually comes up limping fairly heavily there.
This is a huge injury for the Deacons. I mean, arguably their best player. I mean, I don't even know what you got to do here, but you got to make something happen now to make up for this.
Right, and you know, yeah, I have no idea, you know, how bad Cav is hurt here. It could just be a temporary thing. I mean, he could be back in a minute. He couldn't come back at all. But like you said, Cade, you do kind of have to plan for what happens if he does not return. Because like you said, he's arguably, he's one of your best, if not your best player. And especially tonight, he's made his presence known. On the flip side of things, though, how about this momentum for Fargo South right now? They are flying around the court.
They got this swagger that you do not want to see from South, and you can bet they're not going to take no mercy even though Cava's out, and they're going to let everybody know about it.
Well, Cade, you know, Shanley's been able to respond throughout most of this game. Both teams really have been able to respond when one team gets going, so we'll see if the Deacons can continue that trend here. Trailing by just 4, you know, it feels like more, but very little separation between these two teams in this game. Is that shot from Seville won't go. Conte wrestled it away from Cava, and then they'll call a foul on Joe Cava, I believe. Everybody on the Deacon side of the court wants a jump ball, and they get Joe Cava for his 3rd personal foul.
Excuse me, 3rd personal.
And so that's 6 fouls apiece now for each team.
So it's going to be bonus for the rest of the game for both teams. I thought that was 7, but
yeah, I think it is 7, Cade. So both teams are 1 away from entering the bonus as Conte fakes that one, gets it over to Carlson for 3, off the rim, no good. Weisenberger pulled it down, but Hoffer with a great play to wrestle it away. Talon Hoffer moving in, runs into Conte, and they'll get Conte there for the foul.
Conte will not like that call. He thought he was set. It was close, but they're going to give that one to Hoffer, and another number to watch, Conte with his 3rd.
Yeah, that was close. I think he may have gotten set there, Cade, but again, there have been so many of those that could go either way. It's hard to get upset because I feel like it's been pretty even.
Yeah, what they say about refs, assuming there's no bias, which there isn't tonight, it's been very fair. Yeah. Say a ref is calling fouls too early, well, they're going to call it for everybody. So bad reffing just kind of works out. You just got to learn how to play with the refs.
Yeah, and not so much bad. I think it's just trying to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
It becomes bad when it's inconsistent, but like you said tonight, it's been pretty even. O'Keefe in a bit of trouble. He's able to get that one over to Mabor. Mabor had Johnson in the corner there for a second. That opportunity went away, though. He has worked his way into a triple team, able to get it out over to Sam O'Keefe. O'Keefe back over to Mabor, directing traffic. Now over to Johnson. Johnson driving around, bounce pass inside to O'Keefe. O'Keefe runs into Cava, able to kick it out. Shot clock winding down. Mabor throws one. Weisenberger almost got it in. The horn sounds. I don't know if that was actually, I don't think that was a violation as he got the shot off. It doesn't matter, though, as it won't go, and Shanley's bringing it back the other way. Erie looking for 2, and he gets it.
Really nice play by Erie, just showing off the speed that made him an all-state corner as a sophomore and a senior. That is a really good athlete.
And so a timeout taken by the Bruins there. I think they were worried about jump ball getting called. Shanley maybe taking it away, and so they're going to burn a 30-second timeout here.
I think Shanley fans were reacting and believing that was a foul. You heard the big O from the people right in front of us, and people would not have liked that call.
Yeah. But obviously it's the timeout called there, and so with this quick stoppage, folks, we want to remind you, don't forget that you can connect with Shanley TV on social media. Get the latest updates about Shanley sports teams, plus reminders about upcoming broadcasts. Like our Facebook page today at facebook.com/ShanleyTV. Follow us on Twitter at ShanleyTV, and follow us on Instagram once again at ShanleyTV.
One thing during that timeout, Jacob Kava did at least stand up and walk around a little bit. Not saying he's going to come back in, but maybe the injury isn't completely serious.
Right, hopefully for the Deacons, and just overall, hopefully he's not too hurt over there. Mabor for 3, it's too strong.
That's going to be out of bounds. The ball hit the wire. The wires are out of bounds. The entire basket support is out of bounds.
Right. So it's Shanley basketball now, 7:26 on a clock that is not running. And now it's going. 7:23 as Erie fires a long one. Won't go. Rebound fought for. Loose on the ground. Cava's got it. Ooh,
they're going to call Cava for an elbow to the mouth.
I understand the argument, but I mean, that was, I think we saw Cava make contact. I think it was incidental, Cade.
It was incidental conduct, but I mean,
I think you just have to call that.
An elbow to the mouth. I mean,
that's just going to get whistled.
Yeah, I mean.
And it's unfortunate because, again, Joe Cava's not trying to throw an elbow out there, but that's just what happens.
That's too bad, but I mean, I think that was the right call.
Right.
I mean,
so
if you ask Cavas, they're not going to like that.
And and same goes for South, and it's just the way it goes. Whenever it's called against you or your team, you're going to see it one way, and you can see the argument there, but you just got to call that every time. And so that's 4 on Joe Cava. Jake Cava does check back in for Shanley, which is great news for them. South now moving this ball around the perimeter. Quick pass inside. Mabor couldn't get to go, but Weisenberger does. 65-63. Timian has it, pulls up, goes back to Jake Cava, all the way up to a wide open Tom Erie. He had Seville open, but he doesn't need him. Erie ties it up. Mabor bringing it forward now. Timian on him, floats it over to Bennington. Bennington in trouble, 2 guys on him, able to get it over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe tried to keep it on the ground over to Weisenberger. Cava poked it out. Inbounding now is Carlson, gets it to Bennington, and a whistle and a foul going against Fargo South.
They're going to call a charge there on Bennington, I believe.
And it was another close one there, but Bennington just getting a little too physical in the offensive zone. Erie advances it here for Shanley, working against Bennington, looking for another 2, and he gets it.
Erie playing really well, just getting those quick underneaths, and I mean, he's really using that reverse layup well.
Mabor now over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe all the way across to Carlson. Carlson looking inside, he's got O'Keefe. O'Keefe will drive in for 2. He couldn't get it, but he did draw the foul.
Cava is going to get called for his 4th, I believe, and I don't know. I don't know.
First personal.
Yeah, again, I mean, that's been the way they've all.
They're going to call Seville, excuse me.
Shooting the bonus.
Yeah, and I can see Seville more so than Cava, so that makes more sense.
Well, I mean, it's Seville's first as opposed to Cava's 4th.
Right.
What it would have been, so.
And I think there's a good call to be made there. Cava pulling up for 3, no good off the front of the rim. Mabor across half court. Bounce pass over to O'Keefe, near side. O'Keefe looking in the corner, finds Mabor all the way across to Carlson. Carlson pulling up for 2 off the rim, no good. Hoffer's got the rebound. Hoffer into Seville, had it poked away, Mabor. Mabor will now bring it forward, able to get over to Bennington, and he gets that one the ball. Tie game now at 67. Timian up to Cava. Cava, wide open, Hoffer in the corner. It's called off, though, for a travel.
Checking in for the Bruins, number 21, Sayo Conte.
And Conte will check in now as Bennington checks out. 5:14 left to go. Tie game. Mabor will bring it forward now for the Bruins. Gets it over to Conte on the far side. Conte goes one way, then sends it back to Mabor in the corner. Right back to Conte. Carlson with it, wanted the 3. Too many Deacons there. Now Conte has it. He'll pull up for a long 2 and sink it. 69-67. Cava moving it slow across half court. Looking inside. Nice move for 2. Doesn't get it. Weisenberger had the rebound, but it goes out of bounds.
I think it's going to stay with the Deacons here.
And that is the case as Jake Cava will inbound. 4:35 remaining. Cava way out to Seville. Seville now out top over to Timian. Timian to Hoffer and then to Cava. Cava driving in for 2, and he gets it.
Deacons are going to go on a little bit of a press, try and just force some action here.
And now Mabor will take it across half court.
Shanley has gone into a 2-3 zone.
Conte with it, in trouble. Moving around, almost got it over to Mabor, but Erie got there first. Erie didn't get the shot, but he was fouled. Conte or Mabor there, not sure which one. You hope it's not Conte if you're Fargo South, though, because he's at 3. And that's who they'll get. And that's his 4th, so Johnson is going to have to come in for Conte. So Erie at the line now. First attempt is good.
Yeah, so they're going to take Conte out. I mean, you figure you'll see him with about 2 minutes left in the game, but it really just kind of begs the question. And you wonder what he's going to play on defense. That's in terms of his aggression, because, I mean, he is a very aggressive player, and granted, that has caused him some problems. It has kept South, It has helped South.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. No doubt about it, though, if South needs a big shot at the end of the game, we'll be seeing him in there as he's the guy they want taking that shot. Great work by Mabor to get that ball out of trouble. Weisenberger has it now in the Shanley zone, lost it for a second, then turned over. Seville's got it. Seville at the top of the key. Surveying, goes over to Hoffer. Hoffer out top to Timian. Cava tried to get that one off over to Hoffer.
They're going to call out of bounds on Hoffer.
Hoffer went down there trying to keep it in and then just fell and took the ball with him. Mabor now bringing it forward. South trailing by 1. We have a whistle and now a timeout taken by Fargo South. So Cade, 3:20 left. Fargo South trails by 1 here and they've got the ball. What do you think the reasoning is here taking the timeout?
I think you're getting set up for something specific to get an easy layup or to get one of your shooters a 3 right now. I think that's the setup right now. Oh, I mean, they could be telling them anything, but that would be my guess.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's tough to tell, at this point. I don't really know what they can do to try and get separation, and that really goes for either team. It's just been so evenly matched. I really think it's just going to come down to who has the ball last,
I mean, that's the feeling of this game. I mean, I hope it goes to overtime just because it's been so fun.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants this game to end.
I wanna see that about until the time Conte fouls out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Overtime, very possible given the way this game has gone. Those free throws, though, do make it a little different. Now it's a 1-point separation between the two teams instead of that back-and-forth 2-point game we've been seeing.
Unless they're drawing something up here, the only other big thing I can think of is maybe they're going to try and do something to lure Jacob Cava into a 4th foul.
Yeah, that would certainly help their situation as one of their top players is sitting at 4 fouls. They'd love to get Jake Cava to his 4th foul. Joe Cava, of course, does have his 4th already for Shanley. So on the near side, Weisenberger with it, taking his time, not a lot of options. He'll hand off over to Mabor. Mabor trying to cut inside, looking for 2, and they'll wave that off, a travel.
No, they're going to call
foul,
excuse me, I believe, on the ground, and they're going to get Cava.
And yeah, well, Cade, you said it, Fargo South really hoping that Cava could pick up his 4th, and that is the case. And so we'll see what Mabor can do. Maybe cause some damage at the free throw line, shooting the bonus, so he's 1-1, picks up the 1st.
Now if you're Coach Burns, you're put in maybe the worst position of all. You have to make the move that could decide the game. Take out one of your stars or leave him in.
And it appears they're content to leave Jake Cava in, at least for now, as we're tied up. Mabor couldn't hit the second. Seville has it now, goes over to Erie. Erie moving in, over to Cava. Cava for 2, I think.
For 2, yes.
And yeah, that's what they'll say it was, just by a hair, though.
Conte will be checking in with the next dead ball, something to remember.
Mabor goes over to Johnson. Johnson looking. Inside, outside, finally goes to Mabor. Carlson all the way back across to Johnson for 3. In and out, loose ball, and Erie's got it. Now Shanley will look to slow the pace of play. Seville hands off over to Timian. Timian to Erie. Shanley now taking their time. Erie almost lost it. Seville has it now. Out to Timian. Timian to Erie for 3. And he sinks it.
You want to talk about, we talk about South a lot with their swagger. Tom Erie's got his own type of swagger, and he loves to show it.
75-70 now, a big lead. The biggest in a long time as O'Keefe goes inside to Weisenberger. Weisenberger back to O'Keefe, and a foul called. I believe they'll get Seville.
That'll bring Conte back in with the stoppage.
Fouls at number 14, Cam Seville.
About minute 45.
Second personal.
O'Keefe, his first try is good.
Sam O'Keefe shooting 2, checking in for the Bruins, number 21, Sadu Conte.
So Conte will come in.
South really needs this one. You got to cut it to 1 possession right now.
Yeah. And O'Keefe's second is good. It took a little bit, but it drops. Erie inbounds to Timian. Timian taking it forward now. And again, Shanley really slowing this game down now that they've got a bit more of a lead. Seville driving, looking for 2, and he gets it.
Keeps it a 2-score game.
Long ball down to Carlson. They were trying to catch Shanley a bit out of position, but it doesn't go. Carlson now gets it over to Mabor. Mabor, not a lot of options, and he's fouled.
We're going to call Timmy in there. That'll be 2 shots for South now.
Fouls on number 12.
And the big thing for South with these is that they've got the opportunity to get points without the clock running, which is exactly what you want when you're trailing. Mabor's first attempt is good.
And they're converting. They've made at least the last 3, I know. And that keeps you in the game.
Absolutely. Mabor's second is also good. 2 huge free throws. But the big thing here, they got to get a stop on Shanley.
You wonder here if you start thinking about fouling if someone you like to put on the line gets the ball.
Right. I think you've got one more possession here, and then you've got to start if you can't tie things up. As Erie drives in for 2, he doesn't get it. Rebound fought for. A whistle, though, and a foul going against South.
Were they pointing at Erie there?
No, they'll get Weisenberger underneath the hoop. And that's tough. Erie will go to the line, a strong free throw shooter.
Weisenberger's third personal. Erie, 1 will make it a 2-possession game.
And he hits the first one. Erie's second is also good. So Erie lights out on that trip to the free throw line. So now 79-74 in favor of Shanley.
Shanley's going to call the timeout here. They have 4 left, actually.
So, Cade, if I'm Fargo South here, I don't know about you, but I'm really just looking to get this ball in the hands of either Carlson or Conte and just, honestly get a 3 up there. I mean, at the rate it's going, they just don't seem to be able to keep Shanley off the scoreboard. And I feel like you just got to try it out. They're a 3-point shooting team. They do it a lot. Why not try it here in crunch time?
Yeah, if you get an open 3, you take it. But first good look, you take it. No matter what.
Any points at all, right.
And then you foul as soon as the ball gets in. Maybe here in their timeout, I'm sure they're going to drop a play, but then you might also say a name. This person gets the ball, we foul them. Right. And they might also say a name, do not foul this person.
I think the big thing, they just want to desperately avoid fouling Jake Cava. When it comes to the intentional fouls, he's just about the worst guy you could pick. Although that said, Tom Erie has also been shooting really well.
You want to talk about something that hurts right now, though? The technical at the beginning of the game.
Absolutely. That really, I think everyone had it in the back of their minds when those were shot, that those could really come back to hurt them.
I mean, 2 4-point difference. I mean, either way, changes the game right now.
Oh, huge difference, no doubt. So Mabor, bring it forward now for South, entering the final minute of this game. O'Keefe has it, going back to Mabor. Mabor looking, the crowd getting loud now as O'Keefe's got it over to Carlson. Carlson almost lost a handle, in trouble. Bounce pass inside Weisenberger. O'Keefe lost it for a second. Conte launches a 3. Up and in! Oh,
no, it hit the wire, it's out. The ball hit the wire, and it will not count.
Let's get a look at the replay. And that hurts if you're Fargo South. That really hurts, as now they're going to have to intentionally foul, and they're able to get Timmy in. And probably a good foul here. Oh, no. A timeout actually going to be called, I think, before the foul.
I believe there was a foul and then a timeout.
Okay.
I can't. No, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually don't think there was a foul there, which is unfortunate because Timian is probably one of the guys you want to foul. Timian and Seville are probably the 2 guys you really want to get. Cava and Erie, I don't think you want to go near. Hoffer might be another you try and foul.
Can you think of a more frustrating?
Yeah, Cade, I tell you what.
That's not a bad call at all by the refs,
but
can you think of a more frustrating call to have to live with?
Yeah, I mean, off the technicality there, that one hurts. It's not game over, but that certainly makes it more difficult.
I mean, this would have been a 2-point game, very much looking at a 1-possession game. that play and the technical at the beginning are going to be the plays that decided this game if South loses in regulation.
So Cava inbounds to Hoffer, who gets it right back to Cava. That's exactly what Shanley wants. And South's not intentionally fouling yet. They finally pick one up on Hoffer.
If I were Jake Cava, I'd have maybe just held on to that ball and said, foul me.
Yeah, I mean, it's two options. One, they don't foul you and the clock just burns, or two, they foul the best free throw shooter on the team. So
Hoffer is going to have 2 shots here. I mean, if he makes them both, that should basically ice the game, make it a 3-possession game.
As Hoffer does convert on the first one. Big second free throw coming up here, shooting 57% on the season.
You'd like to not see Conte be able to get the ball here for Shanley.
South, though, just needs to get any shot up right now as Mabor is driving in. Bounce pass over to Carlson, now to Conte. Conte for 2. He does get that, but just 10 seconds left. Timeout called, 5-point game with 9 seconds left. Shanley should be able to take care of this one.
Yep. You got to make your free throws and it's over. I mean, that's all there is to it right now.
Right, and with the time left, you know, the amount of time you intentionally foul is going to burn. I mean, you know, you have to imagine 4 or 5 seconds, and it's just doesn't seem like they'll be able to get off, you know, you have to get off 2 shots and make them.
I mean, you almost have to look at, you need a steal.
Right, I mean, you got to get something pretty crazy here. And while this game has had no shortage of crazy moments, I don't know if we've got anything that nuts in store.
If South can get a steal, there's definitely a shot. They did put an extra, I'm going to say, second on the clock.
About, yeah. And so that does help. 10.5 will be left.
I mean, if you're South, you're getting the ball, and I mean, one dribble, you have to shoot. Because unlike the NBA or maybe even college, that clock is going to run when the shot goes in. South does have a timeout to kill. Oh, but Shanley, should South not use it, Shanley can just kind of sit it for 5 seconds under there.
So Cava to inbound, gets it to Timian, who's immediately fouled. That ball almost, Timian couldn't get a handle on it, and it was almost stolen. That's about the best possible case if you're South. 0.7 seconds run off the clock there. And you send Timian to the line, who's only shooting 44% on the season.
And one of the guys that you kind of wanted to foul, Mason Timian, now has to go to the line.
Right.
But we're going to see Jordan Peterson check in here. This is going to be interesting.
Timian unable to get the first.
So Shanley is unable to make this a 2-possession game now.
And Peterson is a strong free throw shooter, so that's likely why we're seeing him go in.
It's nice to see him go in here on senior night, too.
Right. I think he was the last senior who hadn't checked in. As Timian does hit the second.
With the exception of Chris Smith.
Now South's going to have to go quick. Carlson launches the 3. Almost. Does not get it, though. Cava comes up with it. And they'll just let him run the clock down. And that will do it for this one. Shanley comes away with the victory, 82-76. So a big win matches up these two teams in the overall records. They're both now 12-7 with 3 games left. Kate, your thoughts going forward?
For Shanley, this is a game you needed. This game will set you on track to be the 4th seed, to be in the to get a home playoff game and have a very good chance at making your push to the state champion or to the championship.
Absolutely. So 3 games left. A lot can happen there. For now, though, Shanley comes away with the win. Folks, for tonight, for Kate Busick and for our entire crew, I'm Jed Thomas. Your final score from Fargo: Shanley Deacons 82, South Bruins 76. To watch the archive version of this entire game and our other broadcasts, go to ShanleyTV.com. The proceeding has been a presentation of Shanley TV.